Welcome to the Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling Podcast and radio show infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Made daily with organic, farm to table, localized, neuralized, sterilized, Scotch guarded for 2020 repellent, available online, shipped via Amazon, not available on Sundays, but now available on thebeastradio.com. Broken Pencil Logic. You stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
This is the WrestleMania extravaganza-ish. You hear the excitement in my voice.
Yeah, we are.
I don't even know how I feel, man. Is it a celebration or a funeral?
A little bit of both.
Oh, man.
It's a celebration of life.
Oh, man. Hey, tell you what, man. So we're here for one reason only. Let's get this ball rolling.
Hey. You know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. You say that bitch again. I know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. You know who ain't gonna win. We say that bitch again. One, two, three. Get your tail. One, two, three. Get the fuck on. One, two, three. Get your tail. One, two, three. Get the fuck on.
Hey.
I'm so like unenthused with this whole thing.
We're gonna have to put WrestleMania on a t-shirt because they done killed this one.
Airbrush.
Oh, not the airbrush either with the little saint. Oh, no.
It's got to have a halo with some white clouds, blue background.
You finna get the hood Photoshop obituary.
Oh, man.
Oh, my God.
That might not be a bad idea. Just get a really, because
don't gas me up.
Listen,
don't do that.
Listen, airbrush artists aren't trash. The idea of the airbrush t-shirt is, in my opinion, and I guarantee you, this WrestleMania t-shirt airbrush, this shit would go viral in a heartbeat.
I'm telling you what the thing is like airbrush was done to such a unrealistic degree back when we were functioning that it doesn't. You can't resurrect that. You can't. When you put it on, it's gonna look the way it looks. That's not one of those things that like, okay, it's been gone long enough, and now you can bring it back. It's not vintage like champion like champion basketball jerseys or like Grant Hill Feelers. Like it doesn't have that same. It don't have that same bounce back. You put on a fully airbrushed shirt, you just gonna have to accept that this is what it is.
This is what it's gonna be. It ain't changing ever for anyone. Know that. Right.
Like the flavor of Coke has not changed at all. Lemonade was a popular drink and it still is. That type of vibe.
Why the hell are we going in like this? Well, we're about to run down this once again, the WrestleMania 36 do-over, aka the 2 nights of WrestleMania at Raymond James Stadium.
36.5.
So this was at Raymond James Stadium. Or supposed to have been last year. Ended up being at it wasn't even Tropicana Field. It was at the Amway Center, wasn't it, in Orlando? I think last year it was at the Amway Center.
Was it?
I believe it was. Let me do my Googles here real quick.
I forgot where they were. No, I thought it was the Performance Center.
Was it the PC? Yeah, it was because they had one fan in attendance and it was above the ring.
Yeah, they moved right after that. They moved locations right after that.
Right on.
Yeah, it was PC because Edge and Orton fought through the PC.
Right, and again that fan. Yep, it was at the PC. Yep. Wow.
Yep. Straight like that.
So this year, they had a decent crowd for a takeover inside the Capitol Wrestling Center. So this year, being at Raymond James, I'd be interested to see. Tickets still haven't gone on sale yet, have they? Or unless it was just like a local thing.
Tickets went on sale for what? WrestleMania?
Yeah.
When I was in Florida, They were supposed to go on sale like the week after I came back. So they've been on sale. It's just, they're not doing the whole buy your tickets now and fly in, because that defeats the purpose. It really is a local groundswell. Like, if you're gonna buy tickets, you got to be in Florida or willing to drive to Florida just to buy the tickets.
And Florida people are going to Florida all day long.
Like Ema. Like they're Florida gone Florida. WWE gone WWE, and it's never been more evident than by this card, this build. Just take it for what it is. Try to enjoy it. I'm at the point I've resolved myself. Just don't overthink it. It's just going to be a wrestling show. Don't go in with any expectations, because you're just going to disappoint yourself.
They have pod seating, and availability ranges between $80 and $950.
I mean, that's pretty normal. That's normal for WrestleMania.
It's normal for WrestleMania, but for pod seating, I'm not so sure. Like, first of all, I love pod seating. I love the idea of pod seating. You can get you can get maximum impact, because you get people who are diehard consumers to take part of something that's not just for wrestling, but for any type of outdoor event right now. Pod seating seems to be the move.
Right.
I really wish more places would embrace that concept, because you can still get that impact of a crowd while socially distancing and making sure that the people that you're around are the people that are going to keep you healthy.
I am really interested to see how that concept works next year.
I don't think we're going to have that next year. In my personal opinion, I really think, as places like Texas keep Texasing, Florida keeps Floriding.
Yeah.
I got a feeling that everybody's just going to give a middle finger to health concerns because you've been vaccinated, and there's already been cases of people who have been vaccinated that still have contracted COVID-19. So
I won't even get into the discussion of, vaccination and what the holes that are kind of being poked in the idea of where we are with vaccination right now. I'm just like, are they expecting 100,000 people to get into Cowboy Stadium and do what the Rangers just did for opening day?
Bruh. First, like, what are your thoughts on that? Like, we're talking about 46,000 in the first official event for sporting event inside of a brand new ballpark that has been up for a year. How do you? What's your take on that, man?
I think what you just said out loud is exactly my take on it. You took 46,000 people and sat them shoulder to shoulder
in one of the most egregious, if not the most egregious state in the country.
Like, fam, I've during this whole time, I hadn't seen Florida do anything like that. Florida just say I ain't wearing no mask, or I'm gonna go to the beach whenever I get ready. You took 50,000 people and sat them all next to each other to watch a mediocre Rangers team, because this ain't the World Series run teams from, the Ron Washington era. This is like, rebuild on a grand scale.
It's got to say something when Florida looks at Texas and says, no shit.
Like, Texas really just said, hold my beer. Like, that was our hold my beer moment. And
I'm like, man,
bruh. So I don't know what to expect from that. I mean, if there's such a thing as a super spreader event,
that was it. That was that. Yeah. Today is Thursday, April the 8th. Year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
I say year of our Lord.
Year of our Lord.
20 and 21.
Hey, man.
And this is going to be the who ain't gonna win for WrestleMania 37, nights 1 and 2. Also, not to be outdone, our tournament game is on 1,000.
Turn it.
Immediately following who ain't gonna win this week is our WrestleMania main events tournament, Broken Pencil Booking Company style.
Can you dig it?
What more can we say besides tune in, turn up, Get your brackets together so you can write them out as we talk you through them, and be ready to yell at your podcast streaming device, whether it be your car stereo, your home Bluetooth, your Amazon Alexa, your Hey Google, all that. Get ready to even your Apple HomePod. Make sure you get ready to yell obscenities, because there's going to be some points to argue. And I've taken a listen back to it, Suave. It's pretty good. It's pretty damn good.
Well, I mean, like, how often do we swing and miss?
We can't miss. One of these days, we did it on our own before a show once. One of these days, we're going to go back and revisit, like, intros from, like, our first 2 or 3 episodes before the jail actually happened. And,
right.
Yeah, it's worth listening to. And our worst is better than your best.
I mean, look, you know, we put in a lot of work and a lot of hours, even though it doesn't seem like we're being serious. But you know, we're trained professionals to a certain degree.
Yeah, there's sweat equity involved in having fun.
You feel what I'm saying? Like, it took a lot of it took 10,000 hours for this to look easy.
Yeah, reps is what I'm saying.
You had to put them 10,000 hours in. So now, when we're just spitballing stuff, it seems like we're operating at a higher level, and it's because we are.
And speaking of Lego Night 1, so this is in no particular order. The card is courtesy of Wikipedia, because we just know, like, this is going to be the most concise way to get the card as it sits.
Hey, are we going to include the WrestleMania edition of SmackDown? Because now you were saying the Street Profits were going to miss WrestleMania. Now I'm certain of it. That's just terrible. That's irresponsible. I swear to God, it is.
Speaking of them missing WrestleMania, 2 episodes ago, you made a graphic, which was arguably one of the greatest WrestleMania posters to never happen. And this graphic pretty much wrote what we have seen come to fruition over the last 2 weeks up to this point. Part of the reason for our lack of enthusiasm as we go through this, who ain't gonna win.
It was a cold lick. I basically assembled a WrestleMania poster of people who were either gonna miss WrestleMania altogether or had been pulled for whatever reason, and it's like I nailed each. Was it 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6? Nailed all 6. None of these 6 that are on this poster are going to be involved in WrestleMania unless we're getting like some surprise stuff to try to, that's the only remaining hope I have, is that because this is the debut pay-per-view on Peacock, which I don't even know if you can call them pay-per-views anymore, but this is the debut major tentpole event on Peacock.
Peacock is such ass too, man.
Bruh.
God is ass.
And everybody within WWE keeps saying, well, people just like to complain about anything. Like, no, the transfer of functionality from what was the WWE network to what is now Peacock is sorely lacking. Not just the content, but the actual user experience is less than.
Let me give you an example for those of you not up on the Peacock experience yet. On Sunday, April the 11th, immediately following WrestleMania, Stone Cold Steve Austin will be interviewing Chris Jericho on Stone Cold Sessions. If you've been under a rock, yes, Chris Jericho from AEW will be on WWE programming while under contract to AEW, speaking to Stone Cold Steve Austin on a WWE ran product.
Greenlit by Vincent Kennedy McMahon.
Via text message, no less.
And emojis.
And emojis. Which leads us to believe that there was a 13-year-old grandchild involved here, but that's another conversation.
I feel like one of the older kids, it was either Shane, Stephanie, or Trips. Somebody got a hold of his phone and just sent back some emojis like, let's do it, shawty.
Fire, fireworks, all that good stuff. At any rate, passing that on.
It's lit.
If this were on the WWE network like we've known it for the last 7 years to be, immediately following WrestleMania Fade to Black, there's going to be a couple of advertisements, maybe a couple of superstar segments that are advertising the WWE network, and immediately goes into a rolling live, fresh start of this Stone Cold Sessions episode with Chris Jericho. I would bet after what I've seen,
this is 100% pre-tape, but yeah.
Well, but I'm saying, but it would be like a live environment. So, like, if WrestleMania goes off the air at 10:27, by 10:30, you would have seen 10 to 15 different clips of WWE shows on the network and talent that were rolling to the intro for the Stone Cold Sessions with Chris Jericho.
Facts. From
what we've seen this week with just like the Hall of Fame, which I don't even want to get into that bullshit. And that's no slight to the Hall of Famers whatsoever. Just the presentation is off. People
and normally we're able to say that, you know, the WWE production team is undefeated.
No, they took an L this time. They 1,897,001.
Did they take an L, or did NBC/Peacock, affectionately referred to as the cock, because all of the subscribers are getting the shaft?
It couldn't get any better.
Tune into the cock.
It couldn't get any better than that.
Yeah, it's rough out here.
When WrestleMania ends, you can expect to see a graphic that says,
"Thanks for watching.
Thanks for watching. This program has ended."
Bruh.
Which will make you either log out or go find via search Stone Cold Sessions in the hope that you can catch it on a restart. This is going to be a nightmare scenario. This is a scenario we did not expect to see. There's some nightmares we can do a mixtape of nightmare scenarios. This one would not be on that list at all.
I'm concerned, will either one of these nights of WrestleMania be affected by the level of traffic? Because we've been saying this for a while, because like when WWE Network first started, people had issues with WrestleMania 30 just with the sheer bandwidth. I don't know if Peacock is ready to handle that.
We're going to see. Again, Comcast Universal, it's time for you to put up or shut up, and we're definitely going to see. I'm going into this. First of all, which package did you get? Did you get the premium? Or did you get the premium plus?
I got the premium.
Did you have any like additional advertising woes with their premium during the Hall of Fame?
I to be perfectly honest, I missed the beginning of the Hall of Fame. I went to sleep on the end of the Hall of Fame, so I still have not watched it in its entirety.
I think yesterday was your last day.
So wait. See, that's the other thing.
More bullshit. You're putting time limits on things. You're dating your content. Your on-demand content. You're dating it.
Because I saw that with with Raw talking, it's like you say you have 3 days to watch. I'm like, what?
Yeah.
So, are you gonna do that with WrestleMania? Nah, there's no way you're gonna do it with WrestleMania. But I'm like, that doesn't make good sense. Like, that's really, then what are we paying for?
None of this is making good sense. So these are all questions that are requiring answers, and we're going to find out on Sunday. Let's get to this card, man, because we can be on this week. This is a whole episode by itself for just talking about possibilities.
On the cool, we might have to drop a double dose, but go ahead.
Well, I mean, this is already going to be with who ain't going to win. It's going to be a 3-hour episode, so let's make it happen. Let's make the best out of it.
Let's do it.
And this goes apropos for the inception of the BPBC, because I believe our first episode was almost 3 hours and it was highlighting WrestleMania.
Oh no, we used to put on full pay-per-views.
This is a fact.
Like, we would put on a full pay-per-view worth of content, and then life changed and we revamped.
Yeah, and I mean, which has gotten us better, and
it's growth, maturity, and refining our delivery.
Man, just a couple more months, we can get back in these streets and do damage. We can introduce you to the second part of this podcast, and the third part of this podcast. There's levels.
We can continue to grow the branding.
Man, what is it? Shouts out to my man B. Clark and Caution 700. All over. We coming for you. friendly though. This is friendly fire. We're not dooting at nobody. Know that. All right, Sasha Banks versus Bianca Belair for the WWE SmackDown Women's Championship. Suave. Mm-hmm. Who ain't gonna win?
Sasha.
Sasha's not gonna win. This is not the moment for Sasha to win. This is supposed. Go ahead.
The thing I'm looking at is like WWE loves to in these situations, air quotes, swerve the audience and like so-called continue the chase. This is not the time to do that. This is the time that you put old school WWF logic into play. Change the title over. Even if like 2 months from now you decide we're not ready or it's not working and we're going to switch it back and start over, fine. But Saturday and Sunday need to be 100% about crowning who needs to be crowned.
Man, let's talk about it for a second, because Sasha's non-NXT career up to this point has consisted of take the title, lose the title. This is the longest title run she's had, and God, is well deserved. But man, it comes at a time, man, it comes at a time where she couldn't use a crowd more.
If this had a crowd, this could actually. I felt like it should have main evented night one, but then when your closest competitor is Bobby Lashley, I mean, you can't really argue if it's not the show closer.
We would have to assume that this match is, if it's not a co-main event for night one, it needs to open night one, in my opinion.
I feel like it's a co-main event, but it still would open because like you don't get much bigger. Like if you start the show with that on the heels of Women's History Month, and you come out with this match with these two superstars, I don't think you can start night one of WrestleMania any better.
How much time do you give them?
15.
I'm thinking 20, and the only reason I say that's because
I'm thinking bell to bell when I say 15, 20 including entrances.
Oh no, I'm talking about 20 in the ring. Sasha can give you that for sure. She's proved it in NXT. Bianca has the conditioning to give you an hour if you let her.
I mean, they're both, and not to cut you off, but they're both athletic enough to pull it off. I don't want it to get to a point where like it becomes stale because you don't have the crowd.
No, there's going to be a crowd. That's what you're not understanding.
I am not convinced that with the smattering of people that they're gonna allow to watch this live is gonna simulate what we're used to.
All right. So speaking of other championship matches and crowning what needs to be crowned, your champion Bobby Lashley with MVP in tow will be going against Drew McIntyre for the WWE Championship. Suave, who ain't gonna win?
Drew McIntyre.
Let's hope to God he doesn't. He doesn't deserve to win this. When Lashley needs to carry this on, we need to go ahead and get this Brock versus Bobby at SummerSlam, like we've been talking about for the last 3 years.
Actual factuals. Had we waited another 4 months to launch via Peacock, we could have launched with SummerSlam, Brock versus Bobby, and had the full content.
You want to talk about a bag secured for Brock? Brock could have got $1 million from Vince, and Peacock could have supplied the rest.
Bruh, do you realize that like for him to come back for the launch of Peacock, and then you probably would have real fans by then? That's a $5 million match.
Well, and
that's a $5 million payday right then. Because you got it.
They're already talking with Peacock. Not with Peacock, I'm sorry. They're already talking with WWE that they have no plans up through July to go back touring. So this is literally a guinea pig shot at the dark inside a hamster. The people in these pods at Raymond James Stadium will be on hamster wheels. Disobedient Hair and Damian Priest versus The Miz and John Morrison. Just a random tag team match. Please, let's get this one over with. Tell me who ain't gonna win.
Miz and Morrison.
I hate to say it, but you're absolutely right. And I'll do one better. I don't think Damian Priest is the one that's gonna get the pin.
Probably not.
Yeah, and there's absolutely no reason for it.
Damian Priest will be the one to set up the pin, but Bad Bunny's gonna do a splash and get the pin. He's been training. He's gonna do something that he's been working on, whether it's a moonsault or a frog splash or a senton. He's gonna do something, and he's gonna get the win like that.
Braun Strowman versus Shane McMahon steel cage match. Who ain't gonna win?
Shane McMahon.
Shane McMahon will only not win. Shane McMahon might die. I don't want him to, But the last time he jumped off the top rope to give you the elbow drop onto the table, he was about a foot short. The man's over 50 years old. He's in great shape, but you're definitely losing a step, fam. I really don't wish the worst for you, but a steel cage match north of 50, you're asking for it, bruh.
Here's the only thing I see that could happen. You remember when Braun Strowman and Big Show had a cage match? Matter of fact, it was one of the last times Big Show was on TV.
Yep.
On Raw, where Braun threw him through the cage, and the side of the cage fell down. I kind of expect something like that. Like Strowman would lose because he threw Shane through the cage.
Something kooky where
yeah. But Strowman should win this. This program should not continue. It was built on shaky ground to begin with. This should end.
Here's what's crazy. When you say that about how Shane could win, it ties into the storyline of Braun being stupid. And there's your kickoff for Monday after Mania, Raw after Mania, is Shane confirming how stupid Braun Strowman is before he just gets obliterated for the last time.
So is this program is like one long Be a Star commercial?
Basically, I mean, which is the irony about Be a Star was Stephanie was being the ultimate bully when the Be a Star campaign started.
It's so haphazardly assembled. Like just one or two different changes could have made this so much better, and they didn't do any of it. Like Strowman's whole thing about being upset is because he wasn't getting the opportunities as a former Universal Champion. So that would have been the reason to be mad at the front office to the establishment, which eventually should have brought Shane out, and then Strowman would go back on his tour of destruction, flipping over buses and cars and ambulances. Oh my! And then you get to this point where you do the cage match or the Falls Count Anywhere, which has kind of been overdone, and then you get to the big spot. This is awful.
Cesaro versus Seth Rollins, or as we would like to really call this match, Claudio Castagnoli versus Tyler Black.
Hey, look, Seth is normally on our radar for like Kung Fu Panda and different stuff, but since
not right now,
since he's had a child. Congratulations to you. Since he's had his child, he's toned down on some of the stuff he says on Twitter. So maybe he's turning a corner, and he got his boohooman.com account jumping because these suits, for those of you who don't know where these suits are coming from, go to boohoo.com and look in the men's section. Like the tie-dye suit, the Bam Bam Bigelow / Harlem Heat tribute.
Man.
Right? He been in his bag, so I don't have any problems with Seth right now. Right now, and I watch him say some stupid shit.
When I saw the BPBC Elite, I saw Boo Hoo, and I'm like, oh wait, that's exactly what that is, man. I was like, oh yeah, this is a throwback right here. Yeah, they reinvented the wheel with this one.
You feel me?
So we still haven't decided who ain't gonna win. Who ain't gonna win?
Seth. Like Cesaro deserves this moment.
I hate to say it, man. We're going to be in disagreement here. Cesaro ain't going to win.
Again, and for this episode of Who Ain't Gonna Win, I'm going with my own who should and who shouldn't. I'm not going with any WWE logic. I'm literally picking winners based off what I need to see happen.
No, you're picking losers. You're picking losers.
Probably because we know how things work up there. But I'm like, nah, fam. Cesaro has been trying to get a singles match on WrestleMania for entirely too long. He has as good of an opponent as he'll ever have. This is your opportunity to put him over. He has a WrestleMania moment by winning the Andre the Giant Memorial Battle Royal, eliminating the Big Show. But like, it's time. It's time to give him that singles match solo star spotlight. You're not going to have a better opportunity, right? Which probably means he's going to lose.
So, honestly, I think this is, of all the matches, this one stands to steal both nights in terms of wrestling.
Facts. Now they should get 20 minutes
at least. Now,
if you tell me you're gonna shave Bianca and Sasha down to a strong 10 bell to bell just to give this 20, I'll allow it.
If I'm sequencing this, I'm putting this as the if we can fit 3 matches in per hour, I'm going to fit this as the 3rd match of the first hour, and then I would rest it with the Bad Bunny match.
Oh, Bad Bunny's definitely going to be the let me up.
Yeah. All right, and then finally on night 1, we have the women's tag team turmoil match, which features Lana and Naomi versus...
Oh, no, that's the let me up.
Something tells me this is going to kick off the pay-per-view. Lana versus Naomi, Lana and Naomi versus Dana Brooke and Mandy Rose versus the Riot Squad versus Natalya and Tamina.
Like we were talking about in the pre-roll, I think there's gonna be a mystery team. There's gonna be an extra team that's not advertised.
And you know what's crazy about you saying that? This is the exact same. This will be as big of a letdown if that happens as Matt and Jeff Hardy re-debuting this way did at WrestleMania 33.
You thought that was a letdown?
No. I said the way that this will be put together will be as big of a letdown as Matt and Jeff Hardy was a pick me up. If I didn't say that, I apologize. Gotcha. But no, that was a moment. Gotcha. That was that moment was akin to AJ showing up at the Royal Rumble.
Like I feel like the transgressions of WWE with their women's division have been great. I'm looking for Bayley and Charlotte to form a team and be the mystery team, but that's me fantasy booking, spitballing, throwing darts into the darkness.
So, who ain't gonna win this?
Lana and Naomi. They won't win. You gonna pick one team that's not gonna win?
I'm gonna say anybody not named the Riot Squad is not gonna win.
You got the Riot Squad going over?
Yeah.
I'm looking at it from the perspective of like, okay, WWE storytelling, as inconsistent as it may be, the one thing that they've been building towards is Lana having her crowning achievement moment because she's been, air quotes, fighting through adversity.
I mean, this has been her year. As much as because we not for nothing, we took a shit on her because the company did a year ago.
We just called it like it was. It's like, okay, her strongest on-screen presentation was as the wife of Rusev, as like the wife from Rocky. What is that, 4?
Ivan Drago's wife.
Right. Yeah, as Drago. Yeah, exactly.
The Brigitte Nielsen character.
So for those of you who it never dawned on you, Rusev and Lana's original incarnation was, the Drago family.
Yes.
So that was her strongest presentation. Everything else after that has either fallen flat or come off as very corny. I mean, but they've been building this in a way that like hard work and dedication is supposed to eventually pay off.
10 weeks of going through tables is paying off, and it's actually showing that she's actually been working on her craft. She looks good. She's not great. She's not a Hall of Famer quite yet, but in terms of her ability in the ring. But with consistent working, she can definitely get there. She can be in the conversation.
She's working and improving. If they sent her to NXT, she'd be among the top tier women in NXT.
I'll do you one better. If they just put her in the PC for 6 to 8 weeks, 5 days a week, she could be in the top tier.
That feels like a demotion, though.
No.
She's probably doing that off camera, but just if you take her off TV completely, you know how dangerous that is. You come off TV, you're not guaranteed to get back.
Yeah, that's not that.
You remember what was the other member of the Funkadactyls? I don't want to call her Cameron. Cameron. When Cameron decided I want to go off TV, she never made it back.
Not to the E, but she also had health issues too.
She did, but like if you watch Total Divas, which some people do, some people don't. I watch it for the content. When they were talking about Naomi going solo and what to do with Cameron said she wanted to go to the PC and just continue to work to get better. She made that decision to basically take herself off television
and got future endeavor for her efforts.
She never made it back to TV. So that's pretty dangerous to decide, hey, I want to go do this. I want to go do that. It's like, sometimes you got to ride it out.
The irony is when she finally made it back to TV, it was on a web-based series for AEW 3 to 4 years later.
Right, and then she popped up on an episode. Speaking of which, she popped up on an episode of Dynamite and hadn't been heard from since.
Here's an interesting.
I can't wait till we do another full show because it's a whole. I got a drum for AEW.
Listen, I can't look at this match and not think the possibility of two teams splitting up in an effort to go to the table. Naomi and Tamina seem like they're poising to finally join forces. Not that
you're looking for any excuse to get the Samoan Dynasty thing greenlit.
I'm not even going to front on it. The fact that the Instagram is popping, that there's
shout out to my big oos Rikishi. The Samoan Dynasty is an actual Instagram page.
Speaking of Samoan Dynasty and Fatu's, Jacob Fatu is going to be competing for representing MLW, competing against VIP Pro, DFW's own, in Tampa this weekend. And then also shouts out Lou Williams, aka Lou Gotti. Lou is supposed to be, and I could be wrong in this, it's card subject to change, April the 27th, or sometime thereabouts. The Samoan Werewolf will be in the DFW area. I need to get my date right on that one, but yeah,
please do.
We got to pull up for that one. Night 2. Let's go through night 2. The winners of the tag team turmoil match from the women on night 1 will take on the women's tag team champions of Nia Jax and Shayna Baszler. And I'm going to tell you who ain't going to win or who shouldn't win is the people that win the tag team turmoil match. And if they do, I'm rioting. Straight like that. No argument from you. Great. Outstanding.
No.
Kevin Owens versus Sami Zayn with the most useless person in the history of useless people in the WWE celebrity capacity, Logan Paul.
Bro, they're just picking people off Google searches at this point.
How far have we come to where a YouTube, and I hate to call him a sensation, but based on today's climate, that's exactly what he is.
A viral star.
A viral star who knocked out Nate Robinson in his first professional boxing match.
You knocked out an NBA player that's a foot shorter than you.
And not even in the same weight class. That.
Like, you're supposed to do that. Like, let's come on. You're supposed to knock out someone a foot shorter than you. Never mind. So I'm gonna go off on a soapbox. Keep going.
Kevin Steen versus El Generico, and it's not. We can't even call him that because Kevin Owens is in his Kevin Steen bag on pay-per-views as of late. Sami Zayn we haven't really seen much of other than on SmackDown. Who ain't gonna win?
Early contender for match of the night, show stealer. I'm gonna go Sammy not gonna win.
I'm gonna go Kevin ain't gonna win. We'll be in disagreement there.
You think they finally gonna build a program with those two?
Yep. I would
like a long-term program?
Long-term meaning that's gonna last through SummerSlam. I'm gonna say yes.
I'm for it. So cool.
For the US title, Bro Jackson, Matt Riddle versus.
Nah. We're not gonna do that. Nope. Start over. Do it again from the top. Here we go. 3, 2, 1, go.
Your U.S. champion Matt Riddle versus Sheamus.
Start them shits over. Here we go. 3, 2, 1. Yeah.
Your U.S. champion Riddle.
Charlemagne.
Man, goddamn, these words is hard, man. These words is hard.
Angela Yee. Like, I'm not doing this with you.
Goddamn, man. I can't, man. These things is letters. You put them together. That's hard, man. Goddamn, man.
Charlamagne.
Riddle versus Sheamus, man, for the U.S. title. Who ain't gonna win? Sheamus ain't gonna win.
Nah. Man, I'm wondering, do we get our backstage segment with Riddle and RVD? I hope that we would, because they should all be in close proximity.
I really hope it's after the match. It will make more sense that happened after the match, and that Riddle win, and it happened after the match.
Yeah, a post-match interview, and then Van Dam shows up, and they leave on scooters together.
Bro,
you see what I'm saying? You see how easy this is?
It's a layup.
Someone should be cutting me for a nominal fee, soon to be a phenomenal fee. Man. I will take some of this broken pencil knowledge, slice it off, and put it on your plate. So I need lunch money for that one and the last one.
I absolutely hate you.
I need this one and the last one lunch money. Thank you so much. Thanks for playing our game. Yeah, it's too late. It's too late.
I absolutely hate you.
I need those last two, and I'll do something responsible with it. I'll buy Bitcoin and buy lunch.
And because of how fast you ripped through that one, I'm not going to give you the full amount as promised. I'm going to give you half the amount, because you didn't have and half the time.
What is this?
Yes.
What is this?
Heal me, I heal you back. That's it.
Heal me and I heal you back.
Shouts out Money B.
And I heal you back. For real. What up, Money B?
Randy Orton versus The Fiend. Do we care?
I mean, I care, but I'm on the verge of not.
Chicken fried Fiend.
Deep fried Fiend.
You know who really needs to win this match more than anybody is The Fiend. So I'm going to say Randy Orton ain't going to win. Whoa.
I mean, here's the thing. Orton is the de facto heel here.
Here's the thing.
But yes, keep that on standby. Orton's the de facto heel because he set a guy on fire. It's just, how do you turn the Fiend into a face when he's deep fried?
So you do all this character building, and character rebuilding for Randy to show humility in his later stages of his career, as he is now the locker room captain. He's now where Undertaker was, and on screen, he's still an asshole.
Okay, and I'm totally okay with that. I don't need him to be smiling babyface.
I don't either. But you can't give him all this shine to build to show his humility as a human being, to make him be a dick on camera, when people like me and my son still like secretly smile like Jamal and Silas on How High when he comes on the screen. I don't care what he's doing, he's gold. And then you put him in the ring against the Fiend. You put him in the ring against the Fiend, Chicken Fried Fiend, and you want to cheer the Fiend because the Fiend, the Fiend is the best thing that's ever happened to a character in WWE since the Undertaker. And they've ruined
it. It's like I've seen them just time after time, decision after booking decision, creative bomb after creative bomb. They have ruined it. I do not have any faith that it'll return to what I once thought it was from like SummerSlam 2019. We'll never get back there. But how do you look at Alexa Bliss and like sitting crisscross applesauce in a pentagon, and Fiend get doused with gasoline, looking like the Toxic Avenger's older cousin? Like, how are you supposed to look at that as a face? Which I understand there's, ambiguity and all that in between. It's just,
have you ever put gasoline on your shoes? Like, have you ever poured gas on your shoes on accident at a gas pump because your truck overfills?
Nope.
Never. You never. Not. Okay.
I'm far too careful with my footwear. I mean, think about who you're talking to. But yes, I understand the premise.
Yeah. Okay. Even your fingertip. When you get in the car, that lingers for hours. It doesn't just go away.
You have to scrub that off. You can't hand sanitizer spray that off.
Yeah, it's not going anywhere anytime soon. Even when it's off your hand, you still smell it because it's that strong. It's that unforgettable.
Right.
You're not going to get rid of that in the wrestling ring. Was you pouring apple juice? Worst case scenario? Like,
I mean, the lights are red. They're probably pouring tap water.
You're not going to put a towel over your eyes and walk away from that. Like, suspending disbelief. How about you stop doing dumb shit? Let's start there.
We threatened to set people on fire in 1998. We're actually setting people on fire in 2020/2020.5.
Remember how that happened with the Undertaker and the entrance ramp? What makes you think
that was an accident? Those are third-degree burns on accident because of pyro.
So why wouldn't a person get first-degree burns on purpose while a man gets third-degree burns on accident?
Randy Orton got burned in the face like in January. You couldn't tell,
and had a fresh beard. And I go back to that famed day on Mid-South. If you can find it on YouTube, because you can't find it on the network anymore, when Hacksaw Jim Duggan was burned in the face by Skandar Akbar versus Kamala in Jackson, Mississippi, and they showed him on TV the next week with a bandage over his forehead, a patch over bandages over his eyes, and his face was half shaven, right down the middle, daddy.
I mean, there was a lot more care put into, living the gimmick.
And this was in 1984. Come on, man. Don't play me.
People were a lot more rigid in 84, I guess.
Yeah, the Olympics were better.
But this we dealing with Orton, I don't know. I feel like the fans are gonna lose. That's who ain't gonna win. The fans, because there's no this is just the talent assembled is good enough to pull off something spectacular.
This just summarized the entire weekend that we have ahead of us because of our lack of enthusiasm going into one of our favorite segments on this show.
Fam,
the whole reason why we have this going on before the tournament is because this show is so important to the rest of our year. And we have no enthusiasm for the most important segment of the year for our show.
Bro, we off that. We off that. Right. Okay, here's the bet. Will this be better than WrestleMania 33?
Here's the thing.
That's gonna be funny forever.
33.
So you remember 33? There was the Universal, well, it wasn't even the Universal, but SmackDown Heavyweight Championship, which actually was the WWE title, where they had that they were in a crowd and they had all these like projector tricks to project stuff onto the mat from the ceiling. I don't know who thought that was a good idea, but yeah, is it going to be better than that?
Only because it's pre-recorded. That's all I got.
This one's going to be cinematic?
I'm it doesn't say that it's going to be. I'm going to bet money that part of it is.
I just
I don't know if you've ever seen the setup for CGI at a WWE event, but I remember at 25 when Triple H came to the ring on TV, you saw him hurl a sledgehammer through a plate glass window going into the entrance ramp that led to the ring. Remember that?
Yep.
Okay. What we saw in Houston was a contraption that was probably about 6.5 or 7 feet worth of pipe going tall, and then across, like basically looking like a doorway made out of pipes.
All right.
Which was more or less at borders, all it really was. And he hurls this sledgehammer through these pipes, and we're wondering, okay, what the hell was that? No one's cheering. There's no reaction in the crowd because everyone's wondering what the hell happened. Go back and watch it and hear the crowd erupt as he throws the sledgehammer through that. There was no reaction from the crowd because that's not what we saw. We didn't see the glass burst.
I'm just afraid for what's gonna happen because I'm like, if you were to let them like work a real match, I'm pretty sure they could come up with something dope. Because Randy doesn't really give you duds. And
they've been piping noise in for a year, so they can do whatever they want to. And like you said, Randy doesn't shoot slugs. He doesn't fire duds. He shoots slugs. It's coming full throttle. Pause.
Like this is the first time in the incarnation of the Fiend where I feel like the gimmick is gonna hold him back from performing, unless they have something really cool. Which, I mean, you know what that means. If they have something really cool planned for either a cinematic, like. You've set people on fire. Like, what is the next logical step?
You better, if you're going to bring a Wyatt in, it better be the Ultimate Wyatt. You better bring in Bo Wyatt.
Are we going to have a two doinks moment? Like,
nah. They look too different to pull that off.
They're almost the same height.
But we had a completely different fiend that could have been Bo.
Nah, because Bo's not that tall. You remember?
You're right.
The one they poured gasoline on was taller than Randy Orton. Randy Orton 6'5".
That was almost.
You feel what I'm saying? Like Bray Wyatt in real life is like 6'1". Bray Wyatt's my size.
Oh, I forgot about that match too. Now we talk about it. First night there was another match that I missed. The New Day versus AJ Styles and Omos for the tag team championship. Who ain't gonna win?
Unfortunately, New Day.
Here's the thing. See, I'm getting trigger happy with here's the thing. Unfortunately, you're right.
My Cash App ain't rung off yet either.
Shut up. Wait, hold on. Here. There it is.
Nah. Hit that Ron drop because price just went up. I need my 2 lunch monies.
Man,
where is the Ron at? Let's see here. I got this shit scattered everywhere now.
Price just went up.
I think is that moving? Oh, there it is.
Price just went up. Price just went up.
Famo.
Yeah. All right. So, that's terrible. We had to go back to night 1 just for that quick letdown. All right.
I mean, I honestly expect night 1 if everything goes even halfway according to plan. Like I'll be entertained, but I'm gonna work on between now and Saturday lowering my expectations to a point to where I don't have any.
All right. So you want me to bring you up or bring you down right now?
Dealer's choice.
2 or 4. Pick a number.
4.
Big E, your champion, your U.S. or your Intercontinental champion versus Apollo Crews in a Nigerian drum fight. Who ain't gonna win?
Okay, before you do that, the going bet is that on my end is that they're gonna try to recreate Challenge Day from Black Panther.
Here's the thing: the power of the Black Panther has been stripped away.
We will not have it all. But I expect them to try to do that because when they said Nigerian drum fight, I'm like, yeah, somebody saw Black Panther.
So we're going to have Nigerian battle drums at ringside while we have a no holds barred match. Like
I hope this is cinematic. I really hope. I wish that they put the work in and made this cinematic and really did recreate Challenge Day. Sadly, they won't do that.
And sadly, Big E ain't gonna win.
I got Cruz not winning.
In a Nigerian drum fight?
Yes.
Wow.
Did Great Khali win the first Punjabi prison match? No, he did not.
No, but I can also tell you that Hacksaw Butch Reed never lost a ghetto street fight against the Junkyard Dog.
That's because there's a guy who turned out to be a horrible racist was in charge.
This is true.
The fact that it's called a ghetto street fight should tell you everything you need to know about who booked it.
Do your Googles, folks.
Meanwhile, you'll never see another Nigerian drum fight in your life.
Never. We can hope not. We can definitely hope not.
Now, if Cruz wins, I'd actually be entertained if it became a thing. Like every year or a year and a half, you see a Nigerian drum fight come up. Like it's Challenge Day. Like every time he has a title defense, it's Challenge Day.
Contender for match of the night. Unfortunately, this title should not be on the line. We have your women's champion, your Raw women's champion, Asuka versus the de facto challenger via botched pregnancy. What better way can I put it? Botched COVID test, botched pregnancy, botched booking, botchamania, botched backstage, botched production, botched McMahon, Rhea Ripley.
Botulism. So you know how you ended up with this match? You had a real pregnancy and a false positive to get here.
A real pregnancy, false positive, coupled with COVID.
Bruh. Lacey Evans gets pregnant, which knocks her and Ric Flair off TV.
He said nice.
Then Charlotte Flair has a false positive, but does get COVID. And now here we are, Asuka versus Rhea Ripley. They're going to crown Rhea Ripley. Asuka has done a phenomenal job as Raw Women's Champion. I think it's just they're ready to make the switch.
What I really want to see is Charlotte come in destroy both of them to the point of injury, to where Asuka can't defend the belt and the belt has to go up for grabs. That's what I want to see. Unfortunately, I think Rhea Ripley's going to win this belt.
Yeah, I don't think you should have Ripley start off with 2 WrestleMania L's in a row and get done in by Charlotte twice. I'm good. Like, go on and crown Ripley and start the program with Charlotte next night on Raw.
The only way I'm in agreement with Rhea Ripley losing this match there's one way. There's only one way. Is if on Monday Night Raw we get the return of Becky Lynch.
No, thank you.
And I'll do you one better. And the return of Ronda Rousey. That's the only way. It has to be both. You know what? Nah, screw that. Look at the cover.
If you bring both of them back, whether it be the next night on Raw or in the same month or in the same proximity of time, that is your main event for SummerSlam. Look at
the cover. All of them. Bring all 3 of them back the night after Mania to confront the champion.
I mean, that's cool and all, but you know,
because there's story for each one of them except for Ronda.
If we can just get through 4 months and get us to SummerSlam, that's all I want. Just get us to SummerSlam. I will take Becky versus Ronda and then Charlotte versus Ripley. Put it on that card. I'm totally okay with that.
I really wish we could go back to having champions on TV in 3-week cycles. The Intercontinental and the U.S. title, U.S. champion should be on TV every other week. Your world champions or your top champions should be on TV once every 3 weeks. The champion for a particular gender should not be on the same on TV the same week for either brand at the same. And then also, you should not have the women's champion and the men's champion on a particular brand on TV the same week at the same time. It's just
weekly TV should be reserved for either U.S. title defenses or male or female tag championship defenses.
And that includes promos. The champion does not have to be on TV every week. You know who the hell he is.
The world champion, just film a vignette. You know what I'm saying?
Not even. Just show him on TV once every 3. Next week, we have the returning men's champion or women's champion. Like every week, there should be that announcement at least once on one of the 2 programs. All right. Let me back up because that's we're gonna have a whole other show. Finally,
yeah, that's the recap show for WrestleMania. How to fix it,
man. Finally, let's go with the match of the weekend, which should be a 1-on-1. I just don't know how to feel. Yeah. We have the no allegiances to a crowd champion. WWE Universal Champion Roman Reigns, head of the table.
The guy.
Versus the perennial face for Mania, always, Daniel Bryan, going back to 29. Actually, go back to 28. And then Edge, who has now completely done a 180 from the time he returned at the Royal Rumble to going back to 2007 form.
Edge is such a phenomenal performer. Like, yeah, I just got to give him his credit.
Yeah, man,
he's very good. He is very good.
Edge reminds you
Jamaica's good
of 2007, while he's a 50-year-old man wrestling a 35-year-old style.
Bruh, he's not 50.
He's damn near.
He's closer to 50 than he is to 30, but still. He's not 50.
All right, he's 40. He's 47.
Is he?
Yes, he's 47.
Oh, we'll see. Yeah, he's 50.
Now I'm the bad guy. Got it.
No, I mean, you're not the bad guy, but if you're 47, yeah, you're on the top side of 45. Yeah, he's 50.
Who ain't gonna win?
No matter what, Daniel Bryan ain't gonna win.
No matter what. I think if you're not named Roman Reigns, you ain't gonna win.
My feeling is the only reason this became a triple threat is to get the title off Roman without beating him. so that you can later crown him again before it's time to get ready for The Rock. But
this ends night 2.
Yeah, this is the go home. This is the last thing you see before Stone Cold and Jericho.
This is the first time we've seen Roman in front of a crowd since January of last year,
which is the most dangerous and scary shit of the whole show.
Yes, no doubt.
Yeah, it's rough, bro.
Daniel Bryan is the most logical choice, but we've already seen that. We haven't.
You've seen that ending before, and then Daniel Bryan has been consistently putting out quotes that says he's not long for the in-ring competitor life.
Which also that also ties into what I'm about to say next. We've seen the Daniel Bryan closeout Mania moment. Everybody loved it. It's actually the greatest closing of any WrestleMania. We've seen the Roman Reigns. We've seen the Roman Reigns close out WrestleMania. It's probably the worst closing of any WrestleMania we've ever seen.
Several times. He's closed WrestleMania several times.
But
matter of fact, 3 in a row.
But specifically, those 3, you can flip a coin on which one was worse.
32, 33, and 34.
You can flip a coin. They're all bad. In fact, one of them people walked out on before he even pinned 1, 2, 3.
Yeah,
that's pretty phenomenal. The one person who hasn't done it in a while, and every time he's done it, it's actually gotten the exact same reaction, whether you liked him or you loved him or you hated him, was Edge. I say if you're not named Edge, you're gonna lose, or you're not gonna win, and that's how you play. You know who ain't gonna win right there.
For the sake of weekly TV, I kind of like the idea of heel Edge going over, because like now you have a sick, vicious heel on top.
Think about this. When is the last time we've seen sick, vicious heel Edge with no one in his corner?
Has that ever happened?
I don't think it has. Vicky Guerrero.
It did. Right when he turned heel, looking for his first title shot. So that's like around WrestleMania 21, where he ended up winning Money in the Bank.
Wasn't Lita around then?
Not when he first won Money in the Bank. I think that happened like right afterwards.
But I'm saying for Mania.
No, she wasn't. At least I know she wasn't in ringside, but I had to go check my Googles on that. I thought it all came to light like going into the summer.
Let's see here.
But again, I always say 2005, 4, 5, and 6 are like fuzzy for me.
Let me try 21 real quick and look and see. Edge won the Money in the Bank at 21.
Because there's that brief period before he's with Lita where he starts his heel turn because he's never had a heavyweight championship match, and that's where he gets a like backlash or something against Shawn Michaels, and then he starts his turn because of not ever getting the opportunity. Might have been when they were still doing Taboo Tuesday or something.
So I think I'm right, because when we're talking about Mania, Edge as a heel, 22 is with Lita, and again, 22 is with Lita because that's against Mick Foley, right? And that's a hardcore match, no belt on the line, but still we're talking Mania.
Yeah, I'm saying 21.
Right, 21 was a multi-man match.
That was the first ever
Money in the Bank. Yeah,
I don't think she was there for that.
No, there was nobody there for that. It was just
that's what I'm saying. Yeah. Like I don't think the whole thing with Lita came out, which eventually led to the match with Matt Hardy. I don't think that happened until later on.
And I also don't think that anybody had to say. Yeah, Christian did. He had Tyson Tomko. Okay. So yeah, I like Edge. I just don't recall Edge being a heel, winning or getting a heel reaction at the end of a WrestleMania holding a belt up. And I think this would be a good look. Again, maybe I'm thinking too much into this, but I think Edge actually. I don't want Roman to lose it, but I think Edge walks out with the belt.
Okay.
All right. That's he ain't gonna win the unenthusiastic version. Stay tuned. We got the tournament up next, so this is just what we do.
This is what they're giving us.
Broken Pencil BC on all things social. Show at brokenpencilbc.com. That's Broken Pencil BC on what?
Everything.
We got a loaded episode of just talking shit next week, so y'all get ready for it. Make sure you engage on socials, whether it be direct message or email. Let us know what you're feeling, what you're not feeling. We want to call you out by name. If you're listening to this, please hit us up. We got a lot to talk about. Chris Jericho hit a body bag last night.
The recap bear trap,
bruh.
Because we still haven't publicly addressed the dismantling of the Hurt Business and all the things that go with that. So what I'm hoping is that WrestleMania Night 1 will sort of fix some of that.
There's levels to the madness, and we have a lot of madness coming before us. So make sure that you're a part of it. We appreciate you. This is the start of season 4 for us. Let's get it. Tournament time. Let's go. Yeah. You know what it is. It's time for another Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling podcast and radio show infused with hip hop. Tournament brought to you by the Generals and Broken Pencil Booking Company Pro Wrestling podcast and radio show infused with hip hop. I am Wood.
Yeah. I mean, tournament turn up. No Tourette's. Ladies and gentlemen, you stay classy, internet. I'm Suave Burgundy.
As always, this is. Whoa, hold on. Do that right.
It's got a real Fast and Furious 5 vibe going on.
You know
right
what I'm
now.
saying? Like,
where's Tego Calderon when you need him?
Somewhere, so he's somewhere with a really strong Spanish accent. Talking like this.
Tego en fuego, young Tego en fuego.
Straight like that, man. Yeah, so we've been doing these tournaments for a while now, and we do it quite like no other. You already know what it is. You know what I'm saying? And this one's going to be no different. It's also on brand for what we've been doing, and especially considering the time of year that's upon us right now. This is WrestleMania season.
It's wrestling Christmas.
Man,
it's beginning to look a lot like Christmas.
From the last Sunday in January to the first Sunday in April, it's usually like the most joyous time of the year for a wrestling fan. And this is going to be no different. We are doing a few different WrestleMania tournaments. This one's special. We are doing the best ever WrestleMania main event tournament, as only the BPBC,
the Broken Pencil Booking Company,
can do it. You know what I'm saying?
So what you people have to know is, before you get into all your bitching and belly aching, when we say main event, we are talking about
the last match on
the card. The match that happens before credits.
The reason that the person in that match gets the biggest bonus. The one that puts the asses in the seats.
Yeah, go ahead. Yeah, give them the sauce.
You feel me? Like
the match that happens before the fireworks and pyro, when they set the pyro off across the entire stadium, and then they put the little caption down in the bottom right-hand corner, all rights reserved. That's the match we're talking about.
The last person you see being the first person you see when you wake up on TV the next morning, and the first person that kicks off Monday Night Raw on what we call New Year's Day for the wrestling community. The Monday after Raw.
There's got to be a Monday after.
So there are 37 to date. This is today for this tournament, February 26th. Yeah, my lord.
Yeah, my lord.
I said, yeah, my lord.
Yeah, my lord.
20 and 21.
Amen.
And As of right now, the last match of WrestleMania has happened 37 times. Now you wonder, how could that have happened 37 times when there's only 36 WrestleManias? Well, if you remember, dumbass, last year, WrestleMania had 2 nights, which means there were 2 last matches. So that's how we get to 37.
Factuals. How
do we break down the 37 matches into a bracket style tournament? 2 ways.
How do you do that?
2 ways. We have play-ins. So there will be some play-in matches that will advance into the first official round, the first full round. And there's
now, ain't play-in, is just a play-in for the tournament.
Yeah, and there's also a randomizer. So we numbered every WrestleMania match, last match, main event match, in order from 1 to 37. Last year, the one that ended WrestleMania weekend is number 37. The very first one, which everyone that knows wrestling history knows what the very first one is. We'll get to that later on in the show. That's going to be number 1. So they fall in succession of the number of the WrestleMania. Are you with me?
Oh, I'm on deck.
Word. Suave, if you don't mind, sir. Off the top of the dome, give us some tie-breaking criteria. Some of these are going to be easy, but as we get into the later rounds, we're going to have some talk.
So check me out one time for the one time. Basically, what we're looking at right now is match quality. We're also looking at the overall resume of the participants of said last match. Let's see, match quality, resume of participants. Obviously, we're always going to throw in that caveat of personal favorite. Biggest impact, if there is one. How many criteria is that? Because that's we usually do 3 for a tiebreaker.
I'm pretty actually sure we're at 4 now. What was the last one? So we had quality of match, resume of participants, your favorite, and
impact.
An impact. So overall impact or match impact?
Overall impact. Overall match quality, match impact would be match quality.
Okay, and I'm sure just from that alone, we can knock out any one of the other 3 criteria to make it a 3 criteria thing. So if we ever have any issues, those are our 4 criteria there. Anything else you want to throw in?
I think that should be good. Because we'd have to get off into the weeds to do how much money did this WrestleMania gross and how significant is the main event playing into the gross of the event, and we keeping it fun.
Well, we'll throw some numbers out there because the attendance does matter, and so we'll compare the attendances as well as we get into this tournament here. So
it does, but then there's also the caveat of the last WrestleMania, which has 2 night-ending main event matches. They have no gate whatsoever,
but they had 1 fan.
And it was such good shit.
Straight up. So, without any further blase splee, as they say, let me see.
Yeah.
Let me see if I can pull this bad boy up here, shall we? Where's this bracket at? For some odd reason, I'm having trouble pulling that bad boy up here. I have it. There it is. All right. Oh no, it's good over here. All right, so. The first
that ain't got shit to do with me.
Yeah. The play-in rounds are going to feature the following. Oh, there's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 play-in matches. The very first one, let's kick it off with this one here.
All right.
And let me pull up the actual cards. And shouts out to Jake One for the soundtrack, and Marco Polo, and Nicholas Craven, and M. Slago, a few other guys who provide the soundtrack for these shows here. I sent you a link for the tournament bracket as well as the actual main events themselves, right?
Just the tournament bracket.
Okay, so you didn't get the main event list?
No.
All right.
I pretty much know these by heart.
I know. If anybody does, it's Suave Burgundy, ladies and gentlemen.
I mean, we've done it before on the show. I named them all.
House of Learned Doctor.
you know what I'm saying? I don't be out here just playing and cosplaying and no, I don't do that.
All right, so I just sent it over to you just for checks and balances here, just to make everything on the up and up on all sides here. You follow along at home if you like, or
good gang.
You know what I'm saying? So the first round we have WrestleMania 22 versus WrestleMania 36. WrestleMania 22's main event: John Cena, your champion, versus Triple H for the WWE Championship. No, that's wrong. That's it. I saw 22. I'm sorry. That is right. That's from the Rosemont Horizon, or now the Allstate Arena. Versus,
36. And which night of 36?
Yeah, so that would be the first night. So that'd be AJ Styles versus Undertaker in the Boneyard match. We going with the shit early, huh?
Did night 2 of 36 just end up in the tournament randomized?
No, it's number 37. Night 2 is number 37 and on the bracket.
All right.
So whenever we get to 37, we know that's going to be the very last match of last year's WrestleMania.
Gotcha. I'm gonna go. Man, it's hard. It's hard for me to front on a Chicago crowd. I'm gonna go Cena and Triple H.
Chicago is always like Chicago. That Chicago crowd was also the same crowd in which CM Punk beat John Cena and ran off with the plug, the WWE Championship, but he put it in the refrigerator after his contract had already expired. Just give you a little background on the Chicago crowd.
This match is in the middle of the We Hate Cena movement. A lot of excess turn up in support of Triple H, even though he was de facto heel at this point. He basically became a face by default for people just revolting against the
pushed machine,
solidified push.
Five moves of doom at that time.
You know what I'm saying? So yeah, this is deep in 5 moves of doom territory. But that crowd is hot. The only thing I can argue for with the Boneyard match is that it is likely the best of all of the cinematic presentations that we were given. It signifies, as of now, the last WrestleMania match for The Undertaker. It's the last appearance of the Good Brothers on WWE TV.
Man, so painful.
It's well shot. I mean, it's a cool visual. So on Impact, I don't think there's a follow up from the Boneyard match as far as Impact, like, because I think we're not still in the cinematic era. I don't know if there are going to be any cinematic era matches this year, because I think everybody pretty much burnt the candle on that from both ends and in the middle really quick. As far as a favorite, for me, it's a push. Resume of performers, probably still a push. And then which one's your favorite?
So, from a WrestleMania standpoint, for what WrestleMania means, John Cena versus Triple H, higher stakes and better lasting impact. If AJ Styles had actually won the match against Undertaker, we'd be having a completely different conversation. For that reason,
but would we?
Yes, because it would signify the quote or the possible last match at WrestleMania for the Undertaker in a loss.
I mean, it'd have been loss number 3, and at that point, it's like they're not special anymore.
He still beat the Undertaker.
Yeah, cool, but
it's still
if no one remembers number 2, certainly no one remembers number 3. And I don't mean in wrestling terms. I just mean in general.
Right.
Like no one remembers the guy who finishes second, so they certainly don't remember who finished third.
Right. So, man.
Had you beat the Undertaker in an actual match where you pinned him, that might hold a little more weight. Beating him in a cinematic match,
That's what I'm saying. What WrestleMania represents, that the Cena Triple H aspect, was it's more apropos to end WrestleMania on this note than it would be to end it, whether it be one night or two in a cinematic presentation. So the lasting impact is the fact that John Cena was able to show up on Raw with the WWE Championship belt after beating Triple H by submission. For that reason, I'm going to go with WrestleMania 22 advancing to the first full round over AJ Styles and Undertaker. What do you say?
We took the long way to the living room. Yeah.
All right. Triple H advances. Let's see here.
Don't just put that solely on Triple H advancing. Don't do that.
All right, my bad. Triple H and John Cena advance. How about that?
Thank you. Good God.
Jeez, man. All right.
What's that? Another play-in.
All right. Next play-in is going to be WrestleMania 5 versus WrestleMania 24.
I can tell you right now, but
go ahead. Get in your bag, sir. I might need to put this on pause and give me something to drink, so every time you get it right, I can take a swig. Because you're gonna be batting 1,000. I'm gonna be getting twisted here.
I mean, I don't think you want to play these games about me being right, and then you decide if you're gonna drink. That might get you in trouble.
Let me call the barkeep. Go ahead and run them down.
Hey, 5 is it. I'm not even gonna have the conversation with anybody about
who's in it.
Anything else?
Who's in it?
It's Hogan and Savage.
It's for the people at home, man. We ain't playing this by ourselves, Playboy.
Read. Everybody just can't keep doing shit for you all your life. You're going to have to pick up a book. No, but it's good Tri-Terry and Savage. The mega powers explode. You had lust in your eyes for Elizabeth.
Hogan.
See, I mean, art imitating life. Hogan out here creeping on somebody's bitch.
Say, and WrestleMania 24 was Edge versus Undertaker for the WWE World Heavyweight Championship. It wasn't even the WWE.
Just the World Heavyweight Championship.
Just generic World Heavyweight Championship.
Love Edge, love the Undertaker. Don't even remember how that match came off.
But you know what happened at WrestleMania 5.
The historical impact of WrestleMania 5 is just entirely too high. And you have one of the greatest workers in the history of the business involved in this match. Randy Savage got to get more shine around here.
And to that, we say, advancing to the next round, Randy Savage, good try, Terry. Moving forward, WrestleMania 25 versus WrestleMania 15. Now, don't get this twisted. WrestleMania 25 was the WrestleMania that had Undertaker versus Shawn Michaels, but that was not the last match. In fact, there were 2 matches after that match.
That is the actual factuals. And we're going 25 versus 15?
25 versus 15. So 25 was Triple H versus Randy Orton, where they shot their loads of finishers within the first 30 seconds. Both of them did.
Trying to recover from Shawn Michaels and The Undertaker actually stealing the show and rolling credits before the main event actually started.
I was in attendance, so I couldn't tell you what happened on the screen, but man, I can just tell you, no one had anything for first 30 seconds. You're seeing 2 finishers from both people. Nah, bro.
It was over. It was time to go home.
Versus 15, which featured The Rock as your champion versus Stone Cold Steve Austin in a no DQ match for the WWF Championship in Philadelphia with Mankind as your special guest referee.
I'm taking 15.
Easily. The long-term ramifications. This one match set up one of the greatest.
The next 10 years.
This is one of the greatest runs, not feuds, runs for one person, and also solidified the the immortality for Steve Austin.
I'll put it to you like this: this match main evented or co-main evented 3 WrestleManias.
And that's the crazy thing. Only one of them is really like a last match, which is also on this list. But yes, the X8, they did it again. They did it again.
They did 15, 17, and 19.
19, that's right. Not 18, 19. But yeah, either way, it's too much impact, too much of favoritism, too much quality. The resin, come on, man, it's out of here. 15, not even a question. WrestleMania 33 versus WrestleMania 12. 33.
Oh my God, this is
Undertaker Roman Reigns in a no holds barred match versus WrestleMania 12. We have Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels in the Iron Man match for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship. Dear God.
I mean, this solidifies Shawn Michaels. Well, I won't say it solidifies. This is the beginning. This is the one match that people go to.
This is Mr. WrestleMania.
Right.
This is
when
the
you start
birth,
giving him the moniker of Mr. WrestleMania.
The
this
birthplace.
Is where it starts.
Yeah, and this was a very just a. This is I can't even say, like, we still have professionalism at this point between these two, but there was also a competitive spirit between these two that was seen. That, I mean, it's the only way you can have a 60-minute match between two actual wrestlers that went off the way that this one did. And the long-term impact of this match is still being felt now, as there's still animosity from Bret Hart towards Shawn Michaels. You can say you forgave all you want to, but when you have the attitude Bret Hart had going into the Montreal screw job, it all starts here.
You calling Bret a liar?
Not a liar. I'm just saying he's still in his chest.
But he said you can't do that. You can't do both ways. Either you say you buried the hatchet and you moved on, or you still need to see that man behind the Walgreens.
Fuck it, he a liar. Forgive and not forget. Okay. And I don't think he chose to forgive 100%.
Okay, well, all right.
You know what I'm saying? So I'm going with WrestleMania 12 on this one.
Yeah, it's 12.
Oh, and only because this was another match that the Undertaker. It was cute because this is when Roman comes out the next night and says, "I'm the big dog now." That's all he said after waiting in the ring for 10 minutes.
Had that been the epicenter or the nucleus of Roman's heel turn, I could have argued for impact.
He would still be a heel
we're
now.
Give you Roman the same way we've been giving him to you for the last 3 or 4 years, and then the Undertaker, as we saw from watching the Last Ride documentary, felt like he didn't perform to the highest of his capability. I guarantee you, neither one of the participants in WrestleMania 12 are going to say that.
There's that. The last match in the Iron Man match, and you don't give 100% of your effort for the biggest prize of them all. Yeah, that's something that you won't hear that one happen.
In the words of the late great Della Reese, kiss my entire ass.
You shot me in the pinky toe quick. For the last play-in match before we get this tournament completely underway, because we talking our talk, we talking our shit right now.
Straight cracking.
WrestleMania 3,
Hogan Andre
versus WrestleMania 6,
Hogan Warrior.
This is the first time WrestleMania has crossed international waters with WrestleMania 6. This is the first.
Canada.
WrestleMania 3 is the first time that we've seen on this side of things Hogan, or I'm sorry, not just Hogan slamming Andre, but Andre the Giant picked up and body slammed.
Andre had never lost before. This set an indoor attendance record at the Pontiac Silverdome, brother. I mean, 6 is a better WrestleMania. 3 is a more significant WrestleMania.
Better prize on the line than 6 too. It was for the Intercontinental Championship and the WWF Championship, as Hogan was about to lose to the Ultimate Warrior. Andre, the perennial lifetime babyface, aligned himself with Bobby the Brain Heenan, his arch nemesis for the entire time he had been on WWE television, WWF television, that is, Bobby Heenan, and made Andre see the light. They even went so far in this storyline to custom craft the Winged Eagle belt that's Andre sized prior to the match.
Keep it real, my homie.
Like, you go out of your way to, because nobody believed that Hogan was going to win this match.
I mean, why would you? Andre been wrestling, what, 20 years prior to that?
I've never had a championship match. Why you not get my championship match, Hogan?
And never lost.
And just,
you know what? As a matter of fact, I want people to stop talking about Goldberg Street. I want that dead too. No more talking about that, because Andre went decades without losing.
And that includes battle royals.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah,
they were going gangland and battle royals. We're talking about people along the lines of like Bruiser Brody, One Man Gang,
Big John Studd, Akeem.
I mean,
or also one man gang.
I mean,
slash Akeem the African Dream.
Yeah, I'm sure around the world we probably would have had like some Abdullah the Butcher, some Giant Baba in there too somewhere with Andre the Giant. I mean, I don't know, but I'm sure they're in there.
Oh yeah, I hear Japan Andre is on fire. He throwing drop kicks and all kind of shit.
And he was body slammed over there, apparently. That's what I heard. I hadn't seen it, but I heard it.
I mean, if he allows you to do it, that's fine, because that's the only way it's gonna happen.
There it is. So WrestleMania 3 advances to the first round, and there your play-ins right there. So now,
straight like that.
Now we get down to the nitty gritty.
Nittiest of the grittiest.
The nittiest of the grittiest. Now let me see if I can edit. Oh, there we go. Manage one. There we go. That's what we need there. No, that's not what we need there.
Talking about management.
I'm trying to figure this site out we're using for this whole bracketology, because it's different when you're doing it live versus having to do it with round for round, and you can just back up out the bad boy. You know what I'm saying?
Out here going rock for rock.
Let's go into our first full round. Getting the bye in the first round to go up against WrestleMania 22. It's WrestleMania 4. WrestleMania 4, Ted DiBiase versus the Macho Man Randy Savage for the vacant WWF World Heavyweight Championship.
Ideally, oddly enough, a tournament, ironically.
And DiBiase paid his way to the finals. Just moonwalked into that hole. Oh man, versus Cena and Triple H from WrestleMania 22.
Historically speaking, I feel like the tournament holds more weight.
Because the entire WrestleMania was a tournament. And we talked about this. In fact, we did a broken pencil rewind, a rewrite that they actually included not just this tournament, but a moonwalking of DiBiase's career for about 5 years. Well, not DiBiase, but the career of the $1 Million Man, whomever it would have been during that time frame. Versus Cena and Triple H. Can we just go ahead and just advance Randy Savage to the final, maybe to the next round?
Yeah. Yeah.
I'd like to think that'll be a layup there.
Yeah, that feels like good business.
All right, so there's that one. And then next up we have WrestleMania 10, which is Yokozuna versus Bret Hart with Roddy Piper as the guest referee for the WWF World Heavyweight Championship in Madison Square Garden versus WrestleMania, where are we at here? 13.
And 13 is going to be
Psycho Sid versus Undertaker.
Sid and the Undertaker in Chicago again.
Chicago gets a lot of love on these WrestleMania tournaments. So, who you got?
I'm taking Bret Hart and Yoko.
I am too. The long-term effects of what's been going on, or long-term ramifications of Yokozuna, and his lasting effects on the legacy of professional wrestling, not to be eclipsed by the fact that he's an NOIE, still rings today, as Yokozuna passed very, very, very young and way before his time. But his impact is still being felt today as documentaries are coming out and things of that nature, and just there's no viable long-term impact. In fact, Psycho Sid is still not even I don't even think Psycho Sid is even a Hall of Famer yet. And I don't know if
no, there have been some things that have transpired in Sid's WWF/E tenures that have probably hindered his ability to be a Hall of Famer, and it might not change until it's posthumously inducted.
Yeesh. Don't want.
I mean, he's not. It's not that he's not. To my knowledge, he hasn't done anything terrible. It's just we have a much fonder view of him because we saw him on TV, as opposed to the stories that I've heard and had confirmed from listening to people who are in the know about, his love for softball, and that sort of causing him to not focus on wrestling as much sometimes because he's in a softball league.
I wouldn't be surprised if he actually owns the damn softball league at this point. He's been playing softball for as long as he's been wrestling.
You feel what I'm saying? Just different transgressions from the backstage area about just different stuff. But Sid is Sid. It's just, man, the Undertaker's having the worst luck with these show closures. Literally, we did a tournament to crown the best match in WrestleMania history. He won that, but that wasn't the last match. That wasn't the main event.
Nope, not at all.
And it seems like every main event he's been in, it's almost a dud.
And it's funny.
That is amazing.
If you think about the best thing about Undertaker's streak is you noticing that it was a streak, but when you go through the cast of characters, the people that he defeated throughout that streak, only maybe 7 or 8 of them are actually real true main event quality.
It's revisionist history. Like when you start counting them, it's like, okay, that guy's a Hall of Famer. This is a bum. They fed him a lot of trash for a long time.
So yeah, needless to say,
they put garbage in his diet, full of gluten.
Needless to say, Bret Hart is advancing to the next round. It looks like Yokozuna, Bret Hart advance along with Macho Man, simply because that whole WrestleMania was a tournament, and I mean that hasn't been done since. And they can stand to do it again, to be honest with you. They're already recycling, rehashing storylines. They might as well be able to do that one again, because no one other than, historians such as ourselves even seen a tournament like that for an entire WrestleMania. So, and of course, we know Vinnie Mac hates tournaments, but whatever. That's neither here nor there. As we keep moving.
I'm under the impression you'll never see that again.
Ever? Or as long as Vinnie Mac is alive.
Vince is going to be long gone when you see it.
There we go. I'm with that. All right. So on our next foray into this, if you will, man, good try. Terry's all over this. WrestleMania 8, Hogan versus Sid Justice. In a failed character attempted for Sid Vicious. In fact, isn't this when we get the term for Psycho Sid?
No, the turn that created Sid Justice happens at the Royal Rumble. Part of it starts, that's the greatest Royal Rumble win ever for Ric Flair, where the WWF title is on the line, and Sid Justice eliminates Hogan. Then they're halfway beefing, then they halfway squash it, and then on Saturday night's main event, they have a tag match against Flair and The Undertaker. Sid Justice abandons Hogan. Here's where we go into WrestleMania 8. That's their match. And then that's where you end up getting Papa Shango running in at the end. They're jumping Hogan. And you get the return of a much physically lighter Ultimate Warrior.
All right. So there's your backstory for WrestleMania 8. Going up against, I don't even have to tell you what was this one.
WrestleMania 32?
32, man.
The most booed WrestleMania show closer in the history of WrestleMania. I was there in attendance. Roman Reigns versus Triple H.
102,000 people in attendance booing as it went off the air. You could not mask it if you wanted to.
You're splitting hairs on this one.
The moment of silence came at a proper time because that was actually hard thought.
Like you really splitting hairs on this one. Like match quality obviously goes to Roman and Triple H.
Man, I mean the match was phenomenal, but it was a marathon. It was a rest in peace, Rage Almighty. You remember he was at my house. I was fresh off knee surgery, and the match was phenomenal. But we're talking about that was the first marathon WrestleMania that we experienced. We had to do time checks, and we're in Central Time Zone.
Wait. 31 might the all day, all night WrestleManias. Didn't they start with like 30?
Nah, because 30 was the first one that was all day, but it ended right at 10 o'clock. Also in the Central Time Zone. That was in New Orleans.
And then I feel like 29 and 28 could have gotten close to being like day shifts.
Nah, they were only 4.5 to 5 hours. Because no one cared about 29.
I mean, it was Rock Cena too.
Yeah, but no one other than that would name another match.
Daniel Bryan and Sheamus. Or is that 28?
18 seconds.
That's 29. Yeah.
I mean,
all you told me was to name another match. You didn't say name another.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. So that was your curtain jerker, and it was 18 seconds for a championship.
Isn't 29 CM Punk and Undertaker?
You might be right. Yeah, actually, yes. But still, look how hard you had to dig. You're a WrestleMania junkie. You had to dig for that. You see what I'm saying?
I mean.
I'm
gonna be honest with you. A lot of those in the 20s just start to run together for me. It's like nothing separates any of these.
I remember it was either 23 or 24. I forgot which one it was. There was only like one main event match, and at the time, I wouldn't have even made it a main event match. I just got high on Triple H in the last 5 years. Let's be honest. I think he's probably, I think he deserves his just due now. But I think while he was actually active, one of the most overrated competitors out there. I appreciate him a lot more now than I did when he was active. Let's say that.
When he was super active, dude had to be like number 3 or number 4.
You see what I'm saying? But he always made himself number 1. I think that was the problem. Like, I mean, who? I don't think anybody. Those people do exist, but who wants to always cheer for the number 1?
They're front runners.
They're not trendsetters. They're trend followers.
you see it now with some of these lists that are coming out with these awards. Like it's just front running.
They don't do it like us. Whoever you are, you don't do it like us. Just know that. You know what I'm saying? Hold on, man. See, I didn't want to break this out for this, but I must. Hold on, man. Suave, just give it to him, man.
For a nominal fee.
Soon to be.
A phenomenal feat. We will slice off some of this broken pencil knowledge and put it on your plate.
All right, back to tournament action. I'm going 32 for this one. There's no way I'm letting Sid Justice go over Undertaker over Triple H or Roman Reigns.
I'd say 32.
Thank you. Oh wait, hold on. That's the wrong one. Do we need this? There we go. All right. Keeping it moving. Next up, we have WrestleMania 30. Ooh, I don't even care. Oh, wait, yes I do. This is a good one though. WrestleMania 30.
We got to remember what the show closer is of this.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. WrestleMania 30. Which is Daniel Bryan and his
Batista and Randy Orton.
And one of the most phenomenal endings, if not the most phenomenal ending for any WrestleMania ever. You're already setting this up. In a triple threat match. And mind you, Daniel Bryan defeated the entire Evolution minus Ric Flair this night. He started with Triple H. He started with Triple H and ended with Orton and Batista. To become
Evolution is a mystery to everyone but Daniel Bryan.
Versus WrestleMania 18. WrestleMania 18 or X8 ended with Chris Jericho, Y2J Chris Jericho, your first ever undisputed WWF champion, taking on the aforementioned Triple H.
What do you want me to say?
I'm hoping everybody at home just understands that we're not talking about this one.
Give me my 30 piece to go.
Daniel Bryan is your winner. 30 nuggets for the world is what's happening here. All right. From the previous round, WrestleMania 5 is taking on WrestleMania 23.
Which I believe is Cena and Michaels.
Look, I got a beer in my hand. Here's a swig for you. Yes, sir. And 5 again is Hogan Savage.
I'm taking Hogan Savage. Again, this is another year of Cena's basically ran through DX in 2 straight years. You know what? I almost made a case for myself to take Cena. So look at this. Cena is essentially running through DX in 2 consecutive years. The only other person to do that is The Undertaker.
The Undertaker!
2 successful world title defenses, which typically does not happen at WrestleMania. Usually WrestleMania is the crowning of the new, and 2 years straight, it's a Cena. We might give you a break somewhere in the middle of the year just so you don't get totally fed up, but we riding the Cena train till it derails.
Cena, these loud colors, being a product of being a second generation hip hopper and having some of the most phenomenal merchandise we've seen this side of the Fiend. All these things are into the factor as to why he was winner at 2 consecutive WrestleManias as your champion, closing it out. John Cena.
I mean, Michaels gave him one of his best matches ever. They are phenomenal dance partners. Yeah, I gotta keep it 1,000. Like, it's a hell of a match. It depends on how fondly you look upon WrestleMania 5.
Yeah, no doubt. And 5 again is one for the history books, but I mean, you're talking about long-term impact.
It's the best angle in the history of WWF.
But again, quality of match, resume.
Resume is a push.
Overall impact.
5 might be more impactful.
Wow. See, now we're making argued cases.
5 is what gets you across the border to Canada.
This is true. This is very true.
And Edge was there in the crowd, so maybe if you don't go to Canada, Edge never becomes a professional wrestler.
Ooh, well, see, not only is that a reach, but it's a viable one. we don't often hear about a viable reach. That is actually a viable one. Shawn Michaels, Triple H, John Cena. Let's see here. This is Shawn Michaels' first Mania back. No, I'm sorry, second Mania main event since returning from losing his smile.
Yeah, because his last main event prior to that was what, 14?
And that was his next to last main event.
No. He main evented 20.
No. That's what I'm saying. It was his next to last main event prior to retirement. Man.
But yeah, retired after 14, came back, main evented 20, and then main evented 23.
Cena is only second to Ric Flair in championships. 5. You know what, man? I'm gonna dial it back here. I'm gonna dial it back here because 5 again, Hogan Savage. That rivalry is way deeper than just Cena and Triple H or Cena and Shawn Michaels. And to this day, there are rivalries that can't match up to that one. I mean, that goes synonymous with things like Steamboat and Robert, Steamboats and Flair, Flair Funk, Flair Dusty.
That rivalry transferred between 2 or more promotions and in real life. And here's a fun fact.
And on wax. And on wax.
You remember when Hogan had the black eye at WrestleMania 9?
Yes.
You know how he got that?
No.
So the kayfabe story is that he's leaving the gym the night before, and Money Inc. hires some people to beat him up leaving the gym. That's the kayfabe story that they tell on the broadcast. The real version is, you remember watching Dark Side of the Ring and they were talking about where Liz had left Randy and went to Hogan's house?
Yes.
And was staying with Hogan and Linda for a while, but Hogan didn't tell Savage.
Right.
Well, apparently that came to a head in Caesar's Palace.
and Mr.
Poffo punched him in the eye.
Dotted that eye and crossed them teeth.
You know what I'm saying? So Good Try Terry got his eye dotted, and they had to come up with a reason. So like, how is it that you send this man out here with this blackened eye? He's in a tag team title match. You know they weren't going to win, but then you send him back out to win the world heavyweight title while the guy who blacked his eye is on commentary. Like, hey, you know what? Let's just reconsider this. Like, maybe we don't need to give him the title right now. Let's wait. Let's set it up. Let's do something else. Like, nah, we're gonna do this right now.
See, we're talking about this still. Here we are in 2021, still talking about something that happened in WrestleMania 5. With the opposite caveat being John Cena and Shawn Michaels, who's Mr. WrestleMania. I just advanced 5 just off that story.
It's 5. This is the only WrestleMania main event that got disc records with it.
Man, real life disc records, and I played them shits when I was a radio jock. I played that joint.
Be a man,
Hogan. Be a man.
You see what I'm saying? So yeah, go ahead. 5. All
right, WrestleMania 26. Which is another good one, if you will. This is Triple H versus, Shawn Michaels versus Undertaker career match.
26 closed the show? I mean, that closed the show for 26?
That closed the show. Versus, and a no DQ match. Streak versus career. Versus whatever this victim is. WrestleMania, it wasn't 16, it was WrestleMania 2000.
2000, which is the Four Corners match with all 4 McMahons representing The Rock, Big Show, Mick Foley, and Triple H.
Yes. And a phenomenal match.
But not enough.
No lasting long-term impact. There was some impact, but it wasn't lasting long-term like the ending of the career of the Heartbreak Kid, Shawn Michaels. And the continuation of the streak.
Sequel to the greatest WrestleMania match ever.
And so there's the other thing too. If Shawn Michaels wins this match, we have our first victory to take out the streak. So guess who's winning this one? 26. All right. WrestleMania 2. Go ahead.
This one's gonna be this is interesting because of a couple of things.
All right, we got you on color commentary, Swab Burgundy. So the very last match on the card, if I'm not mistaken, mind you,
we're gonna make a ruling, but go ahead.
So let me set the table here real quick. The home team on this one is going to be WrestleMania 20. I'm sorry, WrestleMania 20. That's going to be the home team on this one, which WrestleMania 20 features Triple H versus the Unmentionable versus Shawn Michaels in the triple threat match for the World Heavyweight Championship. Okay. WrestleMania 2 is the visitor. Now, WrestleMania 2 took place in a simulcast in 3 different locations: Nassau Coliseum, in Uniondale, Long Island, New York, Rosemont Horizon in Rosemont, Illinois, and Los Angeles, California, in the Los Angeles Sports Arena. And if I'm not mistaken, the very last match was the LA match. Am I correct in that?
I'm certain whatever match Good Try Terry was in, that's the last one.
And that's the one that was in LA. For obvious reason, you had Good Try Terry trying his hands in the movies, or getting ready to try his hands in movies in LA for the second WrestleMania. Why wouldn't you? The other two
in LA in a cage match with King Kong Bundy.
Now here, and technically, any of these would be the end, because they were 3 different last matches in 3 different locations for one pay-per-view. So if you're in attendance, you could argue that this was the last match. Mr. T versus Roddy Piper in a boxing match, which was a shit show. Greg Valentine and Brutus Beefcake versus the British Bulldogs for the WWF Championship, which Valentine and Beefcake were a formidable tag team.
Tag team championship.
Banished by the Mouth of the South, Jimmy Hart. And Hogan versus King Kong Bundy steel cage match, WWF Championship. Now I'm like Suave. If I'm a betting man, I'm putting all the chips on the table, saying that this was the very last match on the pay-per-view. So for the sake of this conversation, there's too many things going on here. None of this shit you remember it too.
Not unless you're going to go on the network and watch it. You're not going to remember any of this.
Meanwhile, at 20, you have
20 might be one of the best endings. Like, yeah, show closing match, but like literally the best ending.
You want the finish?
No, not the finish to the match. The ending story.
Oh,
with Eddie coming into the ring.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Like that might be one of the top 5 WrestleMania moments.
That is an iconic. Yeah,
that's everything else not taking place.
That's an iconic moment. The unmentionable goes over after Eddie had already grabbed his shot previously or earlier on in the night, and it was a culmination of a defection that happened from WCW in 2000. And the last
it's 20 for me. I ain't gonna hold you.
Yeah, all bullshit aside, 20 gets this one, man. Like, I mean, because
it's absolutely 20 for me.
There's too much nonsense going on to give credit and credence to 2, but that story at 20, man, just it pulls at your heartstrings regardless of what happened after the fact.
And then it signifies, it really signifies a stopping point in the bodybuilder era, because both of these guys are under 6 feet, under 250 pounds, both of them.
They're essentially the prototypes for the Daniel Bryan championship runs.
Facts. They are the precursor to what happens at WrestleMania 30. So yes, 20 by default.
And the crowd agrees with us. The crowd from there agrees with us now.
And it was in New York, and it's hard to beat a New York crowd.
Yeah, and they appreciated it from a wrestling standpoint.
In the Garden.
In Madison Square Garden. All right, so in the last match for this round, we have WrestleMania 34, it looks like. At WrestleMania 34, your main event was Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the WWE Championship in the Superdome. And this one, not only did people just boo, people left.
People booed, people dipped. The match was pretty good. It was a
good match. This isn't wrestling Brock. This is still post MMA Brock. Let me get my paycheck and get out of here, make you look good in the process. But he beat the brakes off. He beat the brakes off Roman Reigns.
Ridiculous call on the fly that Lesnar was going to re-up his contract, so that pretty much changed the outcome of the main event of WrestleMania. Looks like Roman might have legitimately been concussed or at least shaken up.
Bell was wrong.
You get blood in a WrestleMania main event for the first time in a long time.
Probably in about 10 years.
At least. At least. So those are all strong things to consider. Lesnar retaining, it led to this is essentially the beginning of them burning the candle on Lesnar versus Reigns. Because even right now, because of the circumstances going on with Reigns on SmackDown, with being with Paul Heyman and assuming the role that he has, Lesnar is the best opponent for him because there's synergy. But you've done it so many times, nobody wants to see it, even if you do switch Brock face.
And there's that. So, man.
And it's against 15, so we can go ahead and get ready to say goodbye to this.
We gonna holler at it?
I ain't gonna hold you. It's Rock Austin 1.
Straight up, 15 it is.
For all that talking I did about Roman and Brock, like, hey, don't step aside.
We still got some other ones we haven't even talked about yet, man. Bruh.
It's real.
We have in this round 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 more, 8 more matches to talk about in this round alone. And there's some heat coming up. You ready? You ready to keep it rolling?
Turn up.
All right, WrestleMania 35. WrestleMania 35's main event was Ronda Rousey versus Charlotte Flair versus Becky Lynch. And
the first woman's main event in WrestleMania history.
And a winner takes all for both WWE Women's Championships. This is the crowning of Becky 2 belts versus, you ain't ready for this one, Rock Cena 1 in Miami. WrestleMania 28. Lasting impact. Becky 2 belts. Becky held both belts for about what, 6 months? Was it right around 6 months? Either way, it was a long ass time for her to hold both championships. Traveling between both brands post brand split. She lost her opportunity at the Royal Rumble and then jumped into the Royal Rumble to get a shot at the championship. Like, it's so many things happen, and her character turned. She became the female Stone Cold Steve Austin, or they tried to make her the female Stone Cold Steve Austin. She had some body bag moments. She even buried her significant other in a storyline. Not that it was intentional, but she eclipsed Seth Rollins when he was at the peak of his career.
Facts. I mean, nothing you're saying is wrong. All these things are factual. Becky Lynch became the biggest star in the company. You had the biggest free agent acquisition in the history of the women's division. Absolutely. Then you have the most famous namesake in wrestling history being Charlotte Flair. So there's no reason that this match should get any negative reviews from us. Like, the match itself was cool. The finish was a bit but I think it was that was the idea to sort of set up next year's main event, which, I mean, ended up not happening due to some life altering events. So
let me throw this out there at you too. Pregnancy aside, right, which we still haven't seen a return from Becky Lynch yet, but I'm sure it's coming right around the corner. In fact, I would be surprised if we don't see her to Raw after Mania this year. I digress. Ronda Rousey's shoulder being up still has not been addressed by Ronda Rousey on WWE TV. Do we get it?
I think it's the basis for her return.
Here, not only do I think it's the basis for her return, it's going to be a talking point until she retires officially from all sporting competition. So, there's your case for lasting impact there. But let's go back to 28 though. We had a storyline
that took a year. That
not only took a year, but gave us the main event the following year, immediately after this match was over.
No, so what? Following WrestleMania 27, which was Miz versus Cena, The Rock was the special guest host. He gets involved in the main event. So New Year's Day, the next day after WrestleMania 27, the match is made. They decide that 1 year from now, we're going to get to the smoke.
Once in a lifetime, it was billed.
Yeah, once in a lifetime, ended up being two years in a row.
And correct me if I'm wrong. Correct me if I'm wrong. at SummerSlam, Survivor Series that year, weren't they a tag team?
Yes, against The Miz and R-Truth.
Look at me in the bag.
So, and this had been going on. They had been bantering back and forth in the media for years. Like, there was legitimate animosity.
There were freestyles from both. There were shots fired. Yeah. But
absolute shots fired.
If the podcast was happening back then, the Body Bag Award probably would have been birthed during this rivalry.
You'd have got a Body Bag awarded to one of those two weekly. We would have had weekly debates trying to figure out who got the best of the other one.
The I'm John Cena, you better recognize came from this John Cena, which was 6 years later.
So yeah, it's I gotta go with 28.
I'm not mad at that. I'm actually going with 28 too, simply because we don't know where Rock is. Or we do, but we kind of don't know if he's completely done. We don't know if Cena's completely done, even though his contract is up. But something tells me they're gonna have a rubber match. Something tells me we're gonna see a Rock Cena 3. I don't know when or where, but something tells me we're going to see a Rock Cena 3. If we pick, and I'm just really, if ifs and buts for candies and nuts, we'd all have a Merry Christmas. If we pick 35 over 28, and Rock and Cena actually do have that third match at WrestleMania to close out Mania, we've just shitted all over this tournament.
The odds of that happening are minuscule.
I don't think so. I don't think they're as low as you think they are.
Well, I mean, that's why you think what you think, but I'm telling you right now. Nah, I don't see it.
All right, I'm going with 28 as well, so we can advance 28 on this one. All right, now.
Yeah, it's too many different movie schedules to align. Even if they do it again, I don't know if you close the show with. They've closed the show twice.
But you could just off of star power. He's the number one name in the box office.
You could, but at some point you're gonna have to concede that you do have to make new stars. So someone else may end up closing the show to give the perception that they're on a higher level than what they may be. And then Cena Rock 3 may occupy the same space as Austin Rock 3 or Good Try Terry versus Rock. It's somewhere in the card that is such a huge match. It really ends up feeling like the main event. Like you could have went home after this, but then you have something to bring it back down and then take the energy back up.
You gotta remember, we have the conversation of Willie G on this shit. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as like making stars, they keep bringing back Willie. Every time we talk about making stars, they bring back Willie G's bitch ass. So,
y'all can have that.
You feel me?
Yeah, I'm good. I'll take my bathroom break right then.
All right. So as we proceed, we've already advanced Cena. No disrespect to the ladies. Hello, ladies.
Now don't put that creepy voice with it.
Let's proceed with the OG, the original. It didn't even have a number. It was just called WrestleMania versus WrestleMania 12. Now, lasting impact for WrestleMania. WrestleMania isn't WrestleMania without WrestleMania.
There's no two without one.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? Meanwhile, and the attendance, this is actually playing into this conversation. The attendance at WrestleMania in Madison Square Garden was 19,121, according to Wikipedia.
Okay.
Anaheim, California for WrestleMania 12, this competitor for WrestleMania 1. Advancing from the play-in round, Bret Hart versus Shawn Michaels, 60-minute Iron Man match, 18,853. And, I mean, the main event at WrestleMania 1 was Hogan and Mr. T versus Roddy Piper and Paul Orndorff, with special guest referees Pat Patterson and the champ, the greatest of all time, Rumble Young Man Rumble, Muhammad Ali.
Facts. Cowboy Bob Orton at ringside.
With cast.
I mean, he wore that for a long time.
I mean, I think he wore that up to his UWF days.
Who was in the corner for Good Tri-Terry and Mr. T?
Good question.
Cause I know it was somebody, but I can't remember who. I don't think it's Captain Lou Albano. Might be, but I don't think so.
I don't think it was
Was it Orton?
No, Snooker was out there. Snooker was out there.
Oh, it was Snooker. Okay,
Snooker was because I remember, and the reason why I remember this is for all the wrong reasons. Superfly Snooker and Tonga Kid were a tag team going against Orton and Piper weekly on Primetime Wrestling, which was hosted by Gorilla Monsoon and Bobby the Brain Heenan. And they would always show matches from the Philadelphia Spectrum, the Hartford Civic Center, the Meadowlands Arena, any of the Northeast arenas that WWF ran at the time. They would always show these matches, and they always had Tonga Kid and Superfly Snooker versus Orton and Piper. And I think this is also post Coconut. So that's the only reason I remember that Snooker was in the corner. I don't know what his impact was there, but I do remember that Snooker was definitely in the corner for that one. You can fact check me if you want to.
For the most part, it's minimal.
So, do we go with main event of the first WrestleMania, or do we go with what begot a wrestling era, which eventually evolved into the Attitude Era, simply off of this? So, you know what? I think I just answered my own question. We never put it into perspective that this match was also the precursor. It was the sperm meets egg of the Attitude Era.
Now here's the thing. Match quality absolutely goes to Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels. Historical impact, because it's the first WrestleMania, because it's part of the culmination of the Rock and Wrestling merger that started with the brawl, the war to settle the score.
War to settle the score, yep.
So there's a lot of momentum. WrestleMania also signifies the absolute death of the territory era. We ain't doing that no more.
You know what's bad when all the territories look at WrestleMania and says we can do the same thing they did, and no one can come to a decision on who's going over.
Now everybody want to do a mixtape.
What up, Super Clash?
So you feel me? And it's like Vince rolled the dice on a level that you have never really seen.
What's up, Wrestle Rock?
Boy, every super show since then is an attempt to mirror the effectiveness of WrestleMania.
A whole promotion was begot after Pro Wrestling USA was begot because of the success of WrestleMania, and you never saw any televised events from Pro Wrestling USA.
And then there's that. So the historical impact definitely goes to WrestleMania 1. So that's 1-1. It's a push.
Match quality.
Resume.
Match quality ain't. There's no comparison. There's absolutely no comparison.
Match quality is absolutely Shawn Michaels and Bret Hart. Historical impact has to be WrestleMania 1. Resume of all people involved. I'm gonna go 12 on that.
I'm going 12 too. Easy. I'm going. I think it's not even a like your main eventers. matter of fact, here's an easy one for historical impact. I'm sorry, for resume. Roddy Piper is going to be probably the number 1 seed in a futility tournament that we're about to have.
Right. For those of you who didn't catch that, don't worry. We'll
land the plane shortly. But yeah, just understand that. Yeah, we can't even hold him in the conversation with everybody else in this match. I'm sorry, we can, with the exception of Hogan. So for that reason, WrestleMania 1, even though you're Hydrox, WrestleMania 12 is Oreo. We're going WrestleMania 12.
Facts. Yeah, it feels blasphemous. Which match is your favorite?
Easily out of the 212.
All right, go ahead. I ain't gonna argue with you no more. I was trying to find a way to make a case for one because of how important it really is in the grand scheme of things. But I mean, that's why we play the game.
As a child, they hit all the buttons with one. You get Muhammad Ali, you get Superfly Snuka, Mr. T, and Hogan rocking wrestling.
Number one is the formula. It's the blueprint to a WrestleMania main event.
But you don't get crack cocaine without freebase.
I'm not arguing this point. Don't think it's something we should necessarily be discussing out loud, but sure. All right. Yeah, let's go ahead.
All right. Keeping it moving. Man, there's so many good ones we haven't even talked about yet.
Everlasting bass.
Wow. I saw what you did there.
I mean, hey, look, my references to drug culture are endless.
I hate rap. Have it back.
It is a running joke. Like, yeah, I will remix any song and add drug culture to it. Like, I feel like John Singleton of the parody songs when it comes to that. Like Snowfall around me.
Man, rest in peace, John Singleton. WrestleMania 27, The Miz versus John Cena for the WWE Championship, and The Miz is your champion going into WrestleMania. Yes, this was the last match on the card. Versus WrestleMania 19.
Like, hey, look, I know it shouldn't be on this list, but it is the last match.
Versus WrestleMania 19. We can make this one real quick. Perk Angle.
Stop what you're doing. Stop it. Don't do this. Don't do this. Don't do this.
Kurt Angle versus
thank you. Kurt
versus Brock Lesnar for the WWE Championship.
Your Olympic American hero.
And your Brock
almost
Lesnar
killed himself.
Brock Lesnar hits a shooting. He
didn't hit it. Well, first, it hit him.
Okay, let me back up. Never in the history of the Shooting Star Press have I ever seen a shooting star press. Meaning he launched himself halfway across the ring while performing a Shooting Star Press. This is normally something that's done from very close range. And usually from someone who's roughly 75 pounds or more less weight.
It's usually executed within the 90-degree angle of the corner.
Brock Lesnar executed a shooting star press
almost 3/4 across the length of the ring
and broke his freaking neck.
He massively concussed himself. I don't think he broke his neck, but I'm not sure either, so I don't want to say he didn't. He massively concussed himself, knocked himself out, somehow finished the match. We almost saw a man go to the upper room in the main event of WrestleMania
while winning.
I'm sorry, match quality when Kurt Angle is involved, match quality is almost
all-time high. You cannot get over that Kurt Angle in his bag.
You know what I'm saying? And that time is Kurt Angle in his bag.
Man, I can't both. Oh man. 2002 to about 2012 between WWE, the new ECW, and TNA. Kurt Angle might be the GOAT.
He's certainly up there.
He might. His
see,
body of work might be the.
The greatest body of work in that span.
And we just spent all this time talking about the repercussions of the
that's
aftermath.
Another tournament. That's another tournament. I'll brief you on that.
We'll talk about we've just talked about the repercussions of the aftermath of what became a pinfall for Brock Lesnar's first title victory at WrestleMania. And we haven't even said anything about the other match involved in this tournament. Your winner.
Yeah, like Miz tries hard, but what else you want me to say?
I mean,
other than the fact that the ending of that match led to what ended up being the main event of 28 and 29.
And listen, you might be WWE champion right now, but come Monday of March the 1st, year of our Lord 20 and 21, we're hoping for Petty Messiah to come on here and sing the phrases of a transitional champion. Which means
all I'm saying is don't get your hopes up because I don't want you to be angry.
WrestleMania 19 is taking this one. There's no question. Absolutely no question. Fight your mama. Don't fight me. WrestleMania 7, which is where we at here. Sergeant Slaughter. Hey, listen. Fresh off G.I. Joe. Fresh off of a AWA. Like, Sergeant Slaughter was G.I. Joe. A G.I. Joe character in the AWA. Let me back this up again. Sergeant Slaughter was a G.I. Joe cartoon character for the comic book and the actual television series in the AWA.
Spokesperson for the figurine line in TV commercials.
And that's in order. Yo Joe, all that. Sergeant Slaughter. He comes in to WWF with a manager who is his arch nemesis, the embodiment of the Cold War. The entire time he was in the AWA, this man comes into the WWF as Sergeant Slaughter's manager. At the time, he was Sheik. By the time he came to WWF, he was General Adnan LKC against Mr. All-American Hulk Hogan in the WWF Championship match.
I mean, you put way more sauce on it than what it actually came off like.
Let me tell you, there was a level that this is when storytelling was actually meant something.
No, I mean, I'm totally with you. It's the American defector against the real American. My air quotes.
Not the American defector, the Iraqi sympathizer.
Same difference. The American defecting Iraqi sympathizer who used to be the face of G.I. Joe.
He was Hogan before Hogan had a gimmick.
Real American.
He was Hogan before Hogan had a gimmick. Understand me.
Right.
When Hogan left the AWA and went to the WWF and Sergeant Slaughter became the face of the AWA without a championship belt, it was modeled after Hogan. I'm sorry. Hogan was modeled after Slaughter.
Your level of intensity about this era of wrestling.
No. Hold on. Before you get too deep into the bag here, this is gonna be real easy. I just had to set the table for this one.
Oh, so okay, you dug that hole.
Let me give a moment of silence for all that shit I just said. You ready?
Yup.
WrestleMania X7.
Thank you and good night. Better match quality, more impactful event.
Favorite
resume.
This is
and Slaughter does not have a slouchy resume.
Oh my
and of course,
God.
Everybody knows Good Try Terry for what they know him for, but like look at the resume of X7.
The most pivotal moment in the history of the WWF and arguably professional wrestling outside the NWO.
Even though it was the wrong decision.
Wait. It could have been the right decision with one move.
An extra stunner
changes the entire course of the business.
One extra stunner probably would win this tournament.
We wouldn't have this tournament.
The historical impact of one extra stunner would probably be enough to win this tournament. Flat out.
This one's gonna be real hard to beat, bruh.
It's gonna be rough. This one might be our Shawn Michaels Undertaker here. This is gonna be real tough, bruh. It's another one coming that I see might, if they actually meet up before the finals, it'll be good.
It'll be good. Advancing, we have X7. That not even a question. WrestleMania 3 versus
looking for 3.
Ooh, looking for 3 versus WrestleMania 14.
And your winner.
If I did that much for Sergeant Slaughter, let me set the table for 3.
We already set the table for 3 in the play-in. I'll explain. We set the table for 14. This is the jump-off point for Austin as World Heavyweight Champion of WWF, which happens to be the most lucrative period in the history of the WWF.
You're a winner.
Thank you and good night.
And once again, it is Austin with the Duke. This one, 14, for those of you not recognizing or not remembering what happened here.
And you have Mike Tyson involved.
Shawn Michaels is your WWF champion who is on the side of DX. After Mike Tyson flips off.
And cocaine.
After Mike Tyson flips off Stone Cold Steve Austin. We have a month and a half, 2 month storyline where Stone Cold actually ends up getting the championship off Shawn Michaels, and Shawn Michaels raises Stone Cold's hand and gets a beer for his efforts. And
Boys made Sports Center with the build to this.
Man, listen.
Back when they wouldn't recognize pro wrestling as even a sport. Mike Tyson shows up. Next thing you know,
Mike Tyson got more press for this than Buster Douglas did from the time that he actually beat Mike Tyson and should have been on the main event and got replaced Mike Tyson rather because Mike Tyson lost to Buster Douglas in Tokyo. So yeah, this is post prison Mike Tyson too. The first major sports appearance from Mike Tyson post prison was WrestleMania 14. So yeah.
Don't call it a comeback.
WrestleMania 9. Yokozuna, your champion, versus Hulk Hogan for the WWF Championship. Versus the last match of last year's WrestleMania, which is Brock Lesnar versus Drew McIntyre, in which Drew McIntyre was crowned your WWF champion. Drew McIntyre is currently fresh off of losing the WWF championship after winning the Elimination Chamber with the championship on the line. Something that has only been done, I think, twice before this. And
losing the title after Elimination Chamber?
No, keep retaining the title in an Elimination Chamber match.
Cena did it before, and I'm trying to remember the next person. Daniel Bryan's done it before.
There's your 2. Good call, Suave. Now I might be wrong, but those are the 2 that I had in mind: Cena and Daniel Bryan.
Okay.
So if there's more than that, please hit us up. I'm not here to say that we're the soothsayers of all things, but those 2 were the 2 that I had in mind when I made that statement. And
this is a very short list of Elimination Chambers where the title's being defended.
Number 1. But then you actually retain by defeating 5 of the people in that ominous structure, that deadly structure.
Gee, there's your gonna find a way to get that in line. Good job.
There's your drinking game. 9. Man.
9 is Hogan beating Yokozuna, following Bret Hart Yokozuna.
So technically the last match was Yokozuna Bret Hart.
Well, I mean, there's another pinfall afterwards. So I mean, if you want to get technical, it's Yoko and Good Try Terry,
which is still pretty impactful,
and took all of like 30 seconds.
In the most colorful WrestleMania ever at Caesar's Palace. It was. I mean, what's
you mean the arrangement of people on the match card, or just the set design?
Yes.
I was gonna say, you had a Native American in one match. You had a team of Samoans in another match.
Yeah, Polynesian American in the main event.
Yeah, Argentinian because Giant Gonzalez.
Yeah.
Do we have any African American representation on WrestleMania 9?
See, now you about to make me grab it. Hold on, see here. Pause. Let's see here.
I'm thinking about the match card, and I don't think there's one because Virgil's no longer anywhere to be seen.
Just Samoans. Oh wait, Papa Shango.
There you go. Wait, Papa Shango was on the card?
Yeah.
I thought that match got scratched.
No, he defeated Tito Santana. It was a dark match, but it was there in Vegas. I mean, I would hope.
It didn't make Coliseum video.
Oh, okay. I was about to say I would hope that the Vegas native gets a match in Vegas.
He got a match, but it didn't make air. I've never seen that match.
I mean, I'm sure he supplied a whole lot of entertainment.
Whole lot of money.
No, a whole lot of entertainment.
I mean, sometimes you got to go to the shoe show.
You know what I'm saying? So on this one, who we giving, man? We really can't say that there's enough. We haven't lived long enough to see the long-term impacts of Drew McIntyre winning the championship, other than the fact that it's about to be taken off of him and put on Bobby Lashley by way of The Miz.
Man, I got to put it on OG Yoko because even though I loathe the end of WrestleMania 9, it leads to Hogan being put out and his farewell song June of that following year at the first ever King of the Ring. It solidified Yoko as a bona fide high level champion, not just a transitional champion. I'm going Yoko because nothing about Lesnar and Drew McIntyre stood out.
Yeah.
And I hate to say that, like, they could have used the crowd and a crowd may have raised this another level, but name something that happened during that match that was like either you didn't expect it or was just ridiculously good.
They even dropped the ball in what was potentially a great storyline post-match with Big Show. Even though we had to wait 24 hours to see it, but it was like the way that they wasted that storyline was akin to how great the Mark Henry pink salmon jacket retirement speech was on John Cena. And the only thing that made that look like shit was the fact that he did not beat John Cena in the match that he had that was subsequent because of that fake retirement.
1, 2, 3, 4.
You know what I'm saying? So, I'm going with man. I'm going with 9. I'm going with Yoko, man.
I'm with you. I ain't gonna argue with you.
All right, we got 2 more matches in this bracket. The next of which is going to kick off WrestleMania 31, which is Brock Lesnar versus Roman Reigns for the championship, which becomes a triple threat match as Seth Rollins decides he wants to cash in towards the end of the match. And one of the most phenomenal cash-ins we have ever seen.
I'll tell you now that that's my pick, but continue.
Versus WrestleMania 29, Rock Cena 2 for the WWE Championship, and Rock is your champion.
The AKA let's make Cena whole.
You knew what was going to happen because you knew Rock wasn't staying around.
Right. You had to re-solidify Cena as the guy. What better? And the only way to make that happen is to not only have him avenge his loss at the previous WrestleMania, but by doing so become the champion.
And Rock tore his whole shit.
Yeah. He told from ass to appetite. Literally.
The lasting impact is the fact that the movie studios and the insurance companies told him to stay the fuck out the ring.
Yeah, that pretty much that's essentially the reason you didn't get a full match at 32.
You got Rock in a whole tracksuit. Rest in peace, Brody Lee.
So upset.
Oh, rest in peace, Brody Lee.
Because I thought I was gonna get Bray Wyatt versus The Rock, and I got 7 seconds.
Man. All right, in your final match.
Thank you, Eric Rowan, for your service.
In your final match, you have WrestleMania 21 from the Staples Center. Triple H versus Batista for the World Heavyweight Championship versus WrestleMania 11.
Get that bread, Get that head, leave.
Bam Bam Bigelow versus Lawrence Taylor with special guest referee Pat Patterson.
Mr. One and Done.
The lasting impacts of this one match has made the celebrity at WrestleMania a mainstay. Hate it or love it, you have nothing to do but respect it.
Hate it or love it, done. The dog's on top. Now that I'm thinking of it, like 9 might be one of the only WrestleManias that is devoid of celebrity participation.
Shit.
And if it is celebrity, I don't remember it.
I'm gonna say you're in Vegas at Caesar's Palace.
I'm saying, but how many people? Oh, I take that back. Natalie Cole is actually in the stands and got interviewed by Todd Pettengill, but he was not involved. What celebrity participation do we have at WrestleMania 9?
Let's pull it up and see, shall we? Celebrity appearances at WrestleMania. Oh, hold on, there we go. WrestleMania 9. There we go. The first thing that pops up, Natalie Cole.
Ding ding, ring the bell for me one time.
Man, not only that, you get some applause with that too.
Gang.
A whole lot of gang shit.
You dig?
Let's see here.
I don't miss. I do not miss.
WrestleMania.
I may aim at something different, but I don't miss.
Say. Let's see if I can find this thing here. IX. Diane Carroll sung America the Beautiful. Wow.
And that didn't make. See, that's one of those rare things where Caesar's Palace is super rare. They don't show the singing of the national anthem or the singing of America the Beautiful. That's not on the Coliseum video that goes out.
Truth be told, I honestly think that because Vegas is home to so many celebrities, the only person that they interview in the crowd was Natalie Cole because she was probably the most obscure for that crowd. But I think
maybe they got comp tickets, but like, you know how there's a lot of backstage involvement of celebrities and just a lot of that is absent from 9.
Yeah, and since you mentioned it, like I'm sitting here trying to challenge the point. Like on TV, you're right. Like there wasn't a lot of, actually there was hardly any celebrity involvement. But I'd be far-fetched to believe that there was no celebrities in attendance or backstage at WrestleMania 9, considering it was in Las Vegas. Driving distance from Los Angeles.
I truly believe you had people in attendance. It's rare. It's a rarity, and maybe the first time in the first 9 where there's no celebrity involvement.
And not
that's important because it comes back at 10 and seems like they tried to hit the home run ball at 11.
And not that I'm trying to cop a plea or anything, but when you back then, this was what, 1990, was it 91?
11?
Yeah.
95.
95, okay. Damn it. Shit. No, not 11. I'm sorry. 9 would have been 94, wasn't it?
93.
93. Okay. So, and it was built as the world's largest toga party. So I would not say that the world's largest toga party didn't have any other celebrities. Like I'm expecting to see people like Bob Uecker there. You know what I'm saying? So at any rate,
they just didn't make camera, so that's why it was odd for me. Like, but going back into my wheelhouse, watching that, there's not a lot. Certainly not as much as the previous 8 years, and then the following years after that.
I think a hard piece of this for 9 would be considering the year. You're not going to have roving cameras to the capacity that you do right now. Like literally your phone could be a roving camera in 4K or 8K, depending on what your medium is, to be uploaded through satellite and sent to a production truck, to be uploaded through satellite. So, I mean, there's a lot of variables that we have available at our disposal now that weren't available then. And this was an outdoor event in a much wider arena than the Los Angeles Sports Coliseum that it was a couple of years prior to. So, yeah, there's a lot of different things that were going on here that will prevent that from happening, that involvement or that visibility of celebrity. So,
while I do absolutely agree with that part, my only thing is just normally they will have celebrities that they put on camera in backstage segments in an attempt to make themselves look more appealing to, air quotes, the casual fan that may be watching because this is their Super Bowl. But Either way, is I don't know which one's more important.
Well, we'll make it easy for you. That one's the one. That's the one that's going up. You know what I'm saying? Actually, we had 11.
11 versus 21.
No, I was 11. That was 11 versus 31. Okay, but 9 did make it. So
now I got 31 versus 29, and then 21 versus 11.
21. Oh no, we already advanced though. So we advanced 31 and 11.
I didn't know we advanced 11. That's the one we were talking about.
Oh, I'm tripping. I kept saying 9. I'm in 11. You're right. That's why I kept saying 9. My bad.
So we advanced 11 and just said to hell with Batista, right? Batista went on to be Drax the Destroyer. So I mean, this is pretty significant.
Okay, all right. So that was my problem, is that I'm saying 9 and should have been meaning 11 the whole damn time. Let me help myself real quick.
That's my bad. I was using 9 to make a point about 11, so that's my fault.
All right. So as it relates to Batista,
21.
lasting impact. I mean, legacy. He becomes
the face of the company aside John Cena for the foreseeable future.
Legacy, evolution. Yeah. I mean, Cena.
Evolution is a mystery. Everybody but Daniel Bryan.
I mean, he ended up retiring after a match with the person who basically made him after he won the championship. No, I'm sorry. He was the enforcer for Evolution.
Right.
And a person that made him the enforcer is the person that retired him at WrestleMania. And he went on to be arguably the second biggest action star in film and movies ever to come out of professional wrestling.
Okay. I can definitely co-sign that, because Drax the Destroyer in the Guardians of the Galaxy series and the Marvel comic universe franchise, there's nothing to be scoffed at.
He's a very funny guy. What's the driver movie he would do? Was an Uber driver? Stuber?
Yeah,
funny shit.
Stuber was funny too.
Funny shit. The man with a man with the iron fist. Great kung fu action flick. And I think that was his debut, wasn't it?
I'm not certain what his debut was.
I want to say it was the man with the iron fist, and he has a. I think he's is it? What's his MMA record? I want to say he's won 2 MMA matches,
possibly.
And even still, let me really mess your head up. You kind of realize he was, had a nice little age on him when he came out of OVW. Oh, and that part of that great OVW class, he's 52 years old now, and can still handle people.
21 is his launch pad to the level of stardom that he has now. So that's a pretty significant argument. Even though on our Black History episode, we did make Lawrence Taylor one of the most influential wrestlers ever, simply because he is the first non-organic wrestler to get that bread, get that head, and leave. And when I say that, I mean show up, first matches in the show closer, the main event of WrestleMania, cut my check, and I'm gone.
You know what I'm saying? And there was 4 people that came out of OVW that have transcended and have caused more havoc over the course of professional wrestling through not just WWE, only because of one of these people, not just WWE, but just, I mean, really 5. Batista, Brock Lesnar, John Cena, Randy Orton, Shelton Benjamin. And of those 5, Shelton Benjamin was the only one to travel and come back to the E. Everybody else did it in the E.
Greatest recruiting class ever. I'm going 21.
Jim Ross needs a bonus for us talking about this shit right now.
Just send him a check now. Like, thank you for your service.
You know what I'm saying? So, yeah, 21. So, yeah, we just knocked out 11. Just talking off of Batista's resume alone. Forget the match.
Out of there. Next round.
All right, and there's that. So we have our quarterfinal set. We have done a pretty phenomenal job here, Suave. I think we've done our due diligence with explaining to the masses how we get this done. Our quarterfinals we have coming up here. We have 32 versus 30, 5 versus 26, 20 versus 15, 12 versus 28, 19 versus 17, 14 versus 9, 31 versus 21.
Let's make the gangster shit happen there.
You know what I'm saying? So let's go 4 versus 10.
Ooh, 4 versus 10. 10, I'm going to go 4.
4 versus 10. I'm trying to see if I can find a reason to justify 10 simply because we need a point to argue.
Historical impact.
Yoko and Brett versus
Madison Square Garden
versus Savage. This tournament, man.
I'm saying it's Savage and DiBiase.
It's just when you try to do anything but justify, you just say the tournament like it's a wrap. You know what I'm saying? All right, 32 and 30.
30. That's Daniel Bryan closing the show. There are very few better closing WrestleMania moments. 30.
5 versus 26.
Remind me of 26 again.
26. You should know this off the top of your head, Swallow.
It's Undertaker Michaels too.
Yeah, career versus streak. Yeah.
Versus the Mega Powers Explode. Oh, 26.
Yep. I'm going with 26 too. Again,
that's a major victory, and we just ran through that kind of matter of factly.
I mean, so here's your long-term impact. First of all, it's a career match,
right?
If Shawn Michaels is still wrestling after this match, that means Undertaker took his first L at WrestleMania.
Stakes are higher.
Like that alone. And if Undertaker loses this match, this is your favorite match. This eclipses 25.
Match quality's higher because 5 is, the Hogan formula just with a better dance partner.
And the resume of these two.
I mean, resume is like a push, but yes.
Yeah.
26.
26 it is. Let's see here.
20 and 15.
20 and 15, man. Wow.
I'll take 15 in the to-go box.
I like 15 in a bag with a side of
Cajun fry.
Oh, this is getting deadly.
I'm taking 15.
Let's see here. 12 and 28. Did you say let me
28.
Let me run it back again. So 28. We have Rock versus Cena 1.
Yep.
12, Bret Hart, Shawn Michaels, Iron Man match. Long-term impact.
Probably 12. Match quality, 12.
Favorite, 12.
Well, I called it too early. Like, say, when all else fails, you got to go to the criteria. Because I feel like, Cena Rock 1 is a bigger match, but
this one's here. This one's almost unfair. This is probably the best matchup that we've had. I know the answer to this one, but in terms of match for match, you could watch these back to back, and you could probably make an argument for both of these.
All right.
Are you ready? Because this pairing here could be the entire show.
Okay.
19 versus X7.
X7.
I'm going X7, but you cannot.
It didn't take me that long.
But you can't argue. You cannot argue with me that we can't have a whole show just comparing these two matches.
I mean, you probably could.
And the long-term impact.
I don't doubt it. It's the two biggest stars, essentially in the history of the company. It's the most grossing champion until Cena went on his run of like a decade plus. But like Austin's the reason the company's public now. And then The Rock is the biggest movie star in the world.
And then I must add this too for you.
Price just went up. Price just went up.
All that there. So yeah, come on with it.
All right. 12 and 28.
12 and 28.
Did we already do that one? No, yeah, we did. My bad.
Yeah. I was finna say you going backwards.
Yeah, wait a minute.
14 and 9.
Thank you. 14, Shawn Michaels Stone Cold for the WWF Championship. Mike Tyson as the special guest enforcer. And then number 9, which we just had a whole shit show about.
Can we call up to room 9 and see if they need any help getting their bags to the car?
Yoko and Hogan.
You need a bellhop or a luggage rack or anything? Can we
y'all had a nice run. 14, we'll see you here at the pay window.
That's it.
31 and 21. 31,
21. 31. The first time cash in of the Money in the Bank in the WrestleMania main event, that's legendary. It hasn't happened since.
That results in a triple threat.
Yeah, it has not happened since. No one has cashed in during the main event of WrestleMania. I'm surprised no one has ever just said, I'm going to hold this case and I'm going to be the main event of WrestleMania.
It's all but happened. So that might be the natural progression.
That's the next thing you can do, is just say, I'm holding this. I am the main event.
All right. And man, we getting down to nitty gritty here, boy.
Yeah, it's getting real. It's time to hit that refresh. We're about to get up out of here.
4 and 30.
30
it is. Just 30 might be moonwalking. 30.
right now it's gliding. It is gliding.
26 and 15.
Oh.
All right, let me bring it back. 26 is Taker Michaels for career versus streak. 15 right. Is Rock Austin won.
I'm saying the same argument applies to X7. Like, these two are it. They are 1 and 1A.
These two matches, even though there are approximately 10 years apart, they literally defined an entire era and changed the business monetarily forever.
Facts.
Jesus.
I'm gonna go 15.
I'm going 26.
All right, let's go to this criteria then.
Oh man,
match quality. What's the better match quality wise?
26.
26.
And it's arguable. That it's not as close. I mean, it's not. I'm not making it seem like it's a landslide. It's arguable, but I'm going 26 because there were higher stakes.
Resume of the participants.
Shit.
Yeah. I say it's 15. Plus, you have Mankind, who's also a New York Times best-selling author.
If you must throw in the extra cherry on top, it's Mankind as a special guest referee.
15. So what's next? We got match quality.
Favorite. We
got resume. We got impact.
The impact. I guess we got to go with 15. The impact changed the business because the favorite I'm throwing out. I can't call a favorite on either one of them. The impact.
I don't know. I don't know. Like, if you told me right now I had to watch one of them and sit through it, it's probably 26. I would pick 26 first. But 15 is just like, 15 is like you had to be there type vibe. You had to be outside in 99 to really know what that felt like.
Man.
So now we're back in the dead tie.
I think the lasting impact on the business is better felt from 15. Because we still have
disagree.
We still have people watching wrestling
waiting for the next Austin and Rock.
From the Attitude Era, comparing people to Austin. We're not comparing people to HBK. We're not comparing people to The Undertaker. We're comparing people to Austin. We're looking for the next Rock. We're wondering why people can't talk like Rock.
Okay, I'll take 15 for that reason.
Yeah, man. Wow.
It changed the requirements of what you needed to be a star.
Man.
Ooh. That's real though.
Oh wow, 12 and 17. I'm sorry, 12 and X7. That's good night.
Yeah, X7 it is.
Yeah,
It's X7. I mean, there's only so far you can go. Shout out to Super Sock Jose Lothario.
Super Sock. Put some respect on it.
Super Sock.
X7. 14 and 31.
14 is Austin Michaels. 31 is Lesnar Reigns with the cash in from Seth. 31.
Yeah.
I mean,
yeah, I'm not arguing that one. 31 it is.
Yeah, 31.
All right,
and
man.
It's hard because of what the criteria and the explanation we use to get 14 to where it is. It's like, we just threw all that away for a Money in the Bank cash in.
All right, for your semifinals, 30 versus 15. Now, 30 completely transformed what it meant to main event WrestleMania. However, we don't get 30 without a previous one from 2004.
I'm taking 30 over 4.
And no.
Wait, it's 30 versus 15.
30 versus 15.
So it's not letting. Did you advance the tournament already?
Yeah.
It's yes, and when I refresh, it's not bringing it part.
Yeah, it's 30 versus 15. 15 again. Rock Austin won with Mankind as a special guest referee.
The way 30 goes off the air, it has to be better.
Monumental for what this tournament is and what the event we're talking about. It's WrestleMania. Yeah.
It's
the way 30 goes off the air could easily be the very last scene that you see in a video package that highlights what it is to be the main event at WrestleMania.
If you ever get a Daniel Bryan biopic, they're just gonna end the movie there.
They could.
Just end the movie right there.
30 advances to your finals.
Ooh wee. All right, what's the other match to determine the finals? It's getting real.
31. Lesnar, Reigns, Rollins interjects and cashes in for your WWF or WWE Championship versus X7. We almost had Austin Rock versus Austin Rock. Do you understand that?
Cool,
do you understand that?
But yeah, here, okay. In my Triple H voice, here's the thing. I'm taking 31, and it seems like I should not. I'm gonna tell you why I'm taking 31.
Ooh.
On the final decisions, 31 got it right. As far as creative, before creative, before the credits and the fireworks to end the show, 31 got it right.
You know what? I hate that you just said that because it made me think about one visual very, very early on in that show. A curb stop attempt that went above the ring ropes that culminated in the most vicious RKO we have ever seen in WrestleMania with a loss to Seth Rollins.
I'm just talking about what I'm talking about.
And what happened?
31.
And what happens at the end of 31?
Seth Rollins is world heavyweight champion.
After just taking a step up curb stomp that above the ropes to turn into the most vicious RKO we have ever seen at WrestleMania, he ends up winning.
You bounce back from taking an L while the sun was out to being champion as the sun is going down.
And people forgot you even showed up for the whole show.
That was a stroke of master genius as far as creative is concerned. You put that match on, which could have been a co-main event. You put it on early enough in the day that it entertains, but you forget that it happened. And you forget that Seth Rollins has the Money in the Bank briefcase. And then while everyone's trying to figure out, are you going to crown Roman here, or are you going to keep riding this Lesnar rocket, and you find the most clever way out possible?
Well, Suave, here we are. We've gone through 37 matches and put them in a bucket, switched them around, made them compete against one another. Y'all didn't even have to watch these joints. We did the honors for you, and we have
it'll help your own, your own ability to function if you go ahead and do it on your own. Do your own research.
And we have the final two. WrestleMania 30, New Orleans, Louisiana, versus Santa Clara, California, WrestleMania 31. Daniel Bryan, who had just beat Triple H for the very first match in the night to advance to the WWE Championship against Randy Orton and Batista in the main event of WrestleMania 30 in front of 70,000+ people, in which Good Try Terry called it the Silver Dome, knowing he's over 1,000 miles away from Detroit, Michigan, to Santa Clara, California for WrestleMania 31, Levi's Stadium, the very first WrestleMania at Levi's. Might have been the first event at Levi's Stadium. Brock Lesnar, Roman Reigns, that becomes a triple threat match with a cash-in from Seth Rollins. The only cash-in at a WrestleMania during the main event.
Only cash in at WrestleMania, period. That's the
there you go. The only cash
whammy.
the only cash in WrestleMania, period. If you want to add that caveat. Attendance 75,167 in New Orleans, and Santa Clara 76,976.
Stadium versus arena. Well,
stadium versus dome. Stadium versus dome.
Open air versus dome status.
I mean, oh man,
both endings had a new champion raising the belt up as the credits roll. Both guys pulled double duty that day.
We had
I don't know, like Daniel Bryan might be the greatest ending in WrestleMania history.
That was the greatest
WrestleMania moment of all time.
It was definitely the greatest story leading up to.
Right.
It's one of the biggest stories post that WrestleMania. In terms of personal life, in terms of professional life, in terms of the storyline versus real. Seth Rollins has had a magnificent career, and it's hard to believe that match took place in 2015, because here we are 6 years later, and he's had multiple title runs. He could easily be a champion at a moment's notice. The only thing stopping him is the fact that Roman Reigns is the tribal chief over on SmackDown.
That's the only thing stopping him, that Roman Reigns and him are on SmackDown at the same time.
And because Roman Reigns is in the role that he's in, Seth Rollins is literally one bad Friday away from being a babyface again.
Well,
his wife is going to be returning here real soon. We could hope. And his career hasn't suffered. In fact, he's reinvented himself. So has Daniel Bryan. We had a all natural championship belt, fam.
I'll be honest with you. Daniel Bryan's issues with concussions and post-concussion syndrome is the only thing stopping him from being the Austin of the modern era. Like, he's the superstar, like in that gap where you see like, okay, superstar, and then who's carrying the company into mainstream. Daniel Bryan was that guy. He was the guy that would have carried the company into the mainstream forefront after Cena.
Wow.
Just look at the build. Look how big the Yes Movement started to become. Other people were doing it in other sports. Had he not had to retire for a short amount of time due to post-concussion syndrome issues, there's the face of your company.
He would have been.
He would have been the Austin / Rock / Hogan / Cena for his time period.
So I'm actually going there with it. In the 80s we had Hogan. In the 90s we had Austin / Rock. In the 2000s we had Rock / Cena. In the 2010s we had Cena /
And it was a hodgepodge. It was Edge, Undertaker,
Triple H, Daniel Bryan,
Perk Angle.
But Daniel Bryan is in there. Strong, high.
Daniel Bryan would have been the 2010 plus.
So we're talking from 2000.
We would define this as the network era because that's the beginning of WWE Network as a streaming platform. WrestleMania 30 was the first.
The first WrestleMania
he would have been the face of the network era.
So we're talking 2013, 14, 15, 16. He returned. Was it 17 or 18 that he returned to? 18 he returned to the ring.
Yeah, because he comes back for 34.
And it's
like
argued
that 2-3 year span makes that much of a difference.
In 18 and 19, he was on the heel run out of this world, and people still rocked with him. Like I said, he came with an all natural championship belt. You know what I'm saying? Hey, look,
Evil Captain Planet Daniel Bryan is actually my favorite.
All right, let's go through the criteria. Quality of match, 30 versus 31. I'm going with 30.
Push, but okay.
Resume participants, neck and neck, both ROH champions, both multi-time WWE champions.
Lesnar's an MMA fighter, so is Batista. Lesnar's the better MMA fighter.
Batista's the bigger movie star.
Facts.
Randy Orton, 14-time champion, soon to be 15.
Roman Reigns, head of the table. And he beat leukemia twice. 2 straight falls.
In a 2 out of 3 falls match.
You feel what I'm saying? It's over with. Yeah. I mean,
favorite.
It's all. I think the shock and awe of the ending of 31 is my favorite.
My favorite matches of the 2 is 30 though.
The match is better for 30. The ending is better for 31.
I can even without watching the Triple H Daniel Bryan match at 30, I can still recapture the emotion from 30 watching it now. I can't say that with 31.
All right. I can see that.
So we're still split on this one. Overall impact.
I hate for this to end in a coin flip.
We've done so good. This deserves so much more.
And then like I say, with that 3-year span that Daniel Bryan is getting himself healthy, that's the difference in even separating Daniel Bryan from Seth Rollins, because Daniel Bryan was like was going to be a generational face of the company. Seth Rollins has had that opportunity a couple of times, has not cashed in on it.
Oh man.
He's been the best wrestler in the company, been the best wrestler in the world before, been the hottest wrestler in the company, never cashed in on being like, okay, this is the generational guy. That's Roman's seat.
I honestly, I think Daniel Bryan's stock has either gone up or remained the same. Seth's has had peaks and valleys.
Okay,
and I think that's your separator right there. I'm going with 30.
I can't argue. I love the creative of how 31 plays out. I love the ending of 31. I think it was clever as shit. I also can't deny what 30 meant.
You're a winner.
Yeah.
And new best WrestleMania main event of all time, WrestleMania 30. And it's
congratulations to all the participants. Enjoy your baskets filled with fruits and berries and samplers from all across the globe.
And this is it's very arguable. Very, very arguable.
Oh, I'm certain we're getting some hate mail.
I mean, show up brokenpencilbc.com, brokenpencilbc@gmail.com. I mean, you got something to say? You got something on your mind? Let it off.
At Broken Pencil BC on what?
Everything. Suave.
Yo,
we've done this for a couple hours now, man. Hopefully we've entertained the pencil pushers. Do me a favor, take us to the house.
Pencil pushers, heads up, pencils down.
The Broken Pencil Booking Company, a pro wrestling podcast infused with hip-hop. Available on all streaming platforms, including the Beast Radio.